No, see, is it because I'm black? No, it's not because I'm... Alright, look, forget it.
Hello and welcome to the Loose Butthole Reviews. I am your host Smokey, and joining with me as always is my co-host Spooge.
Hello.
And joining with us again is our co-hosts Murda and Starfish.
Hello.
Hi.
And we have a special guest joining with us today. We have Omi joining with us for his third review.
Hey guys.
And before we
Hi,
get
Omi.
before we get into the review proper, I'm going to give the 3 rules of our rating system. The first rule is it must be a fraction of 5. 1 out of 5 means we hate it. 5 out of 5 means we love it. Rule number 2, if we want our money back, we give it a good old Jeff Goldblum. And rule number 3, if we all agree that's doing the review that it deserves a God tier, a 6 out of 5, then it will get one. And today we are reviewing Good Burger number 1. The first one. The good one.
Yeah. 1997 American teen comedy film. Good Burger, directed by Brian Robbins, written by good old Dan Schneider, with Kevin Coppolo and Heath Seifert, starring, of course, that wacky bunch, Kenan Thompson, Kel Mitchell, and Abe Vigoda.
I like how, he's billed as third. I don't know, he wasn't as main of a character as
No, he was not.
some of the others. Although I very much enjoyed Abe Vigoda. I always do.
Well, he
crushed
kind
it.
of like more than some people. He had some equal time because I mean, with the whole asylum escape.
True.
Part of that.
True.
Which I actually kind of forgot how much he was in the. I remembered less of him, and then watching this, there was actually a lot more of him than I remembered.
Yeah. Something before we break into the plot. Something I do want to mention is Brian Robbins. So Brian Robbins, in 1997, he directed Good Burger, and he was very heavily involved with like a lot of the Nickelodeon things and stuff like that. Brian Robbins today is the president and CEO of Paramount Pictures and Nickelodeon, and he has been that since 2021. So he's on his going on his 3rd year in 2024.
Well, I guess I can't blame him for the state that Paramount is in and everything, because they have been doing some rough years here lately. But I'm jumping reviews, to be honest.
Yeah, but anyways, I just wanted to bring that up because he has humble beginnings here, right? Like was not like one of those guys, because you see it a lot, especially in like C-suite like business tiers, is like, oh, I ran this bank, so like I can obviously run this like loan company, and then I can run this like debt relief company. And so like, a lot of times people in the C-suite, just once they get to the C-suite, they just like rotate companies, which like makes sense. But what's really cool to see is like, even when really large companies, like Paramount and Nickelodeon, massive companies, actually, take people who were maybe behind the scenes like way back in the day, but like have risen through the ranks to actually become presidents of things and stuff like that. That's really cool to see. And that's the only reason I wanted to bring him up for Good Burger, since he is now operating Paramount.
Well, I mean, it seems like it was a no-brainer to give him, top dog position at Paramount after he was nominated for a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Director in 2007.
For what movie?
For Norbit.
Oh, he did Norbit.
Oh,
so like they saw that and they were just like, "Here's the keys to the kingdom, bro."
I mean,
but he's had a lot of wins too. yes. Yes.
So we will be
but
talking about both Good Burger 1 and 2 today. We'll be talking about Good Burger 2 separately. I'd rather watch Norbit.
Yeah.
Than the second Good Burger.
Yikes.
Oh
It
yeah.
Yikes.
is. I agree with Murdo on that statement.
There's a decent cult following like behind Norbert too. I've noticed like online. There's people that swear by
Yeah,
that film.
yeah. I mean, as far as like other filmography, he did The Show as the director, Good Burger, Varsity Blues, Ready to Rumble, Hardball, The
Oh,
Perfect
Ready to
Score,
Rumble.
The Shaggy Dog, Norbit, Meet
But
Dave, A Thousand
now,
Words.
are his wins though because of him? I feel like the in most of those movies, it wasn't him that made the. It wasn't the direction that made it. Was an actor or just like the plot itself that really
Well,
sold the
so let's.
movie.
I mean, perhaps.
Because what sold Good
So
Burger, the first one, is the duo. Like it is a
yeah,
kind of iconic duo that.
True,
yeah.
but I feel like the direction was solid in Good Burger.
Yeah,
Hmm.
the other thing that we should mention about Brian Robbins, because I do not want to mention the Schneider, if at
I
all
mean,
possible.
no, we're gonna have to address it.
Okay. Well, anyways,
I was
so
just about to mention him.
the other thing with Robbins is that he was the writer and creator of all that. He was also the writer, creator, director, and executive producer for Cousin Skeeter. He was also the writer for the All That 10th Anniversary Reunion special. Um, and he was the writer for Head of the Class, as and he was also the director and executive producer for Keenan and Kel. Um, so I think what I mean is like his wins fall into a very specific category, and those wins are primarily with Keenan and Kel,
Hmm.
and like those early, or well, I guess like those late '90s, early aughts Nickelodeon stuff.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
especially given how much like he's written, like a lot of our mid millennial humor comes from Brian Robbins.
It's
Oh
like
true.
yeah.
he, I wouldn't necessarily say he did it single-handedly, um by any means. However, he's he's important, and
I could.
he seems to be a cool guy.
Yeah, I could see him being like kind of the strong force of like the writing of like the comedy, and then I could see, uh, though I mean, as despicable as he is, Dan Schneider is more of I think more of in the direction of the actors.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
mean, he does a lot of the writing too.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Of course,
I
and
like I
mean,
think it's.
I think we do
Mhm.
have to address Dan Schneider. I mean,
yeah,
we
we
can't
will.
really ignore
Yeah,
him
he's
Dude, so
in
I
the
being a
had
part
film.
of
no
this.
idea about this guy until
Oh god.
just now. Just now, I'm starting to read everything. I'm
Oh,
like, oh my
uh,
god.
oh yeah.
Oh no.
So great way to think of Brian Robbins and Dan Schneider. Brian Robbins is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Dan Schneider is Anakin Skywalker.
Ah, don't do
Um,
that to Anakin Skywalker. Don't
I mean,
fucking do that to my
Anakin,
boy.
nah, Anakin killed
Just hate
younglings.
sand.
well, yeah, no. I guess what I'm saying is like, he fell into the dark. Like it was very clear that Dan Schneider was like poised to essentially be a supporting role for Brian Robbins' career based off of like how many things they worked on together. But Dan Schneider had to turn to the dark side. Um,
No, he didn't
he
have to.
Well, yeah, no, he didn't have to. He shouldn't have.
But he
But
did,
that is what he did.
allegedly.
So
I would
I
well,
mean,
say
so
if
he's
Sam
Dan.
more
Jackson
like
would have just
I
given
would
him the
say
title of
Dan.
master.
I would say Dan. I would say Dan Schneider is more of a Palpatine, an evil force, just
He's not a
sitting there
mastermind
corrupting.
though. He's not a mastermind.
I mean, he was
Like,
able to get
I
away
think
with his
he
shit
might be
for
though.
quite a while.
From
I mean,
from, from the
it's
things I hear from
unfortunate.
like Jeanette McCurdy, he seems kind of like a mastermind and a manipulator.
yeah. So we should say. So we'll jump into the misconduct allegations. Which
Dan Schneider was a writer on this movie, and he was Mr. Bailey,
Right,
their
he was
the owner.
the
yeah
owner.
yeah
Okay.
manager
Owner.
or whatever. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so just gonna just take this, straight off the Wikipedia page here. Deadline Hollywood, the first to report about Nickelodeon parting ways with Schneider in March 2018, also reported that there were complaints about Schneider's alleged behavior. This includes his alleged, quote, well documented temper issues for years, quote, and his activities on Twitter, where he often posted pictures of the feet of young actresses who worked for him.
I mean,
Nickelodeon,
Facebook guy.
we saw it in like a lot of those shows. There's be like a lot of
yeah,
Oh
young
yeah.
people's feet
yeah,
Mhm.
in his
yeah,
shows.
absolutely.
He also had like a little Twitter thing where he like was like, "Oh, all the kids that love like Carly and shit, post your feet for iCarly."
So
Yep,
fucked
Ugh.
up. So
yep.
fucked
Yep.
up.
God damn it.
Nickelodeon did not respond to Deadline Hollywood's report, and Schneider's representative counsel refused to comment on this. Now we flash forward to June 2021. The New York Times reported that Nickelodeon's decision to sever ties with Schneider came after its parent company Viacom CBS completed an internal investigation that found evidence of Schneider verbally abusing his colleagues. Some of his colleagues told the newspaper that they found him to be difficult to work with and, quote, prone to tantrums and angry emails, quote. The investigation did not find evidence of sexual misconduct. When asked about the allegations, Schneider defended his work and said that if people found him to be hard to work with, it was because he maintained, quote, high standards, quote, as a showrunner. Flash
That
Oh,
forward.
and
I think.
here's another one. A spokesman for Nickelodeon says, quote, "We don't even like feet." I'm kidding. That's not a quote.
I could see it. I could see that being a
What
quote from like these
I
type
think
of people.
what's really gross about
I'm
Dan Schneider, I think, and what keeps him, I think, from getting away from like the sexual ones, because is from what I said before, and I wanted to clarify something I said before, is I think he keeps it kind of DL by like hiding it under like that, like, oh, tickle feet, oh, silly, oh, like give you a back rub, like, oh, and I think that's the type of
Yeah,
like harassment he does,
absolutely.
which I think
Absolutely.
is a very, like, he knows how to bounce around the
and
system,
I'm assuming the less you play ball with him, the more aggressive he is towards you. Like if you don't send him
Also,
that picture of that foot shot that he needs, oh, he's gonna cause the next recording day a living hell for you.
also another
Yeah.
thing is that what makes him a kind of a Palpatine is that he sort of enabled and groomed, not sexually, but groomed in a sort of to be like him in a predator sort of way. Drake Bell.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
also had a lot of allegations of misconduct,
Yeah, and
unfortunately.
they were known
Oh,
to, they were
that's
good buddies, and behind
par
the
for the course for
behind
people
some.
named Drake.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
true.
would agree with
It's
that.
just
So we'll flash forward here from 2021 to August 2022 last year. Insider reported several new allegations from former actors and employees, including accusations of gender discrimination and asking for massages from adult female colleagues. A
Mhm.
person who was close to Schneider said Schneider, quote, regrets ever asking anyone for a massage and agrees that it was not appropriate, quote. Russell Hicks, a former executive at Nickelodeon, denied allegations of sexualized scenes in Schneider's shows and claimed that, quote, parents and caregivers and their friends were watching every single frame of footage and listening to every joke. Every single thing that Dan ever did on any of his shows was carefully scrutinized and approved, quote. And so the only thing I have to say about that is, you know, this is how corporations deal with blatant misconduct. We saw it with like Larry Nasser and the fucking um the USA gymnastics team, and this is just a smaller corporation essentially doing the
Well,
same thing, which is just kind of, well, just sweep it under the rug, and eventually people will forget that ever happened,
what
and
I'd also like
try
to
to
say,
minimize everything, and it's
On
bullshit.
Lasseter too and Pixar, yeah.
what I'd also like to say, it's like, okay, maybe that's true that parents, watched everything, but that doesn't mean anything because if we're talking about Jeanette McCurdy, who has a lot of allegations,
We
her mom was a fucking monster.
we
So
Yeah,
we
Oh
like
yeah.
also
she didn't give
have
a fuck.
to we also have to put to point most parents are fucking ignorant with what they're watching. Like they're as oblivious as their children most of the time. Like 9 times out of 10, the mature jokes go over to their head and everything. Like you actually have to be paying attention to get a sly mature joke. You can't just be
Also,
like, oh, that looks a little
if you have an
immature.
innocent mind too, then you do just look at it and think, oh yeah, funny feet,
Yeah, I
or like
mean,
things like that. Oh, like I could see
they're,
it like
they're
through an ignorance of that,
they,
like an
we
innocence.
might be the type of people that go, oh, that foot shot's lingering a little bit longer, but there's other people, the
It's because we
majority of
know too
people,
much about
yeah,
these people.
exactly, but the majority of
yeah,
people
exactly.
don't. Majority of
Tarantino.
people ignore this.
Yeah, totally.
So most of the time they just go, oh, look at the foot. It must be funny that they like feet. Oh, laugh
Hmm.
at it.
Yeah,
I
and I mean,
mean,
I think
Tarantino likes adult feet, so not the same thing to me.
no, no, definitely not. And also too, I highly recommend anyone who is listening to this review and did not know of any of these things, um, you should listen to Jeanette McCurdy and her story, um,
I mean, she
because
wrote a
it is,
book called "I'm Glad My Mom Is Dead."
yeah, but it is quite telling, the constant stream of abuse, and sexual abuse that she received, in the hands of these adults who were surrounding her life. Um,
But we don't have
Which
to necessarily dwell on this. We can get back to Good Burger, but I didn't think that we could ignore um, the Schneider.
I
I
mean,
think it's good
he's on the
to keep
screen.
He's
It's
on
hard
the
to ignore.
screen.
yeah
I
yeah
was watching him and I knew, and like I hated myself because I laughed at some of his lines.
yeah. I mean,
I
he's talented, and
that's
that's why he's where he
we
is.
we
Unfortunately.
can address that monsters can be talented. We can
Oh,
fully
for
address
sure.
that.
So many
That'll be
talented
something
monsters.
we'll be probably visiting something like that in the far future, in maybe August, of a very talented monster.
Oh yes,
oh,
I remember we talked about that.
Hmm.
neat. But yeah, so that is the Brian Robbins slash Dan Schneider story, I suppose. Not lumping them together, just saying that like there was some definite good that came out of this and some definite bad that came out of this. Um, However, we are with Keenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell and Abe Vigoda. And
Third
we're,
billing.
yeah, that's how he's set up. I don't know. Um, but
we
yeah,
also um we
Is
also
this his
have
last film?
no,
Sorry.
surely
no, I
not.
don't think
Okay.
I don't think so.
No, he was 75 in this movie and he passed away when he was
Oh,
like
can
95.
Oh,
can
okay.
someone confirm that? Can someone just
I'm
confirm what
confirming
his
it right
last?
now.
Okay, thank you.
His final film role was Sweet Destiny in
Okay.
2014.
Oh, nice, nice.
Okay.
So that was like 2 years before he passed away.
Yeah, he still was working for quite a while.
Yeah.
Way to
But
go,
I was gonna
Abe.
yeah. Um, was gonna just mention a few other actors here. We had Shar Jackson as Monique. We had Jan Schweiderman as Kurt Boswell, the villain of the film.
Yeah.
We had Sinbad as Mr. Wheat, Linda
Got it.
Cardellini as Heather, um, Ron Lester as Spatch, Josh Server as Fizz, all that guy that I think is kind of funny. We have appearances by Shaquille O'Neal and George Clinton and Carmen Electra as Roxanne.
I did
Um,
not realize that was Linda Cardellini. Wow.
yeah,
Yep.
in the asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then the other thing we should mention too with Josh Server in specific, Josh Server is the only All That cast member to appear in every single episode of all episodes ever made of All That, including the reunions.
Yeah, sometimes
Oh
in
wow.
my head, I just hear, "Here comes May." Like, it just plays in my head.
um, so, we're on the first day of summer, 1997. I'm guessing a freshman or a sophomore in high school. Um,
Yeah, I
Dexter.
think Keenan said he was 15 because he was a year away from getting his license.
That's true. So Dexter is, just wants to be done with school. He's got all these plans. He has his parents are away on town, so he's driving his mom's car, which
Can
is like,
can I state that even though Dexter is portrayed to be the protagonist, he is definitely the main villain of this franchise?
Yes, you can state that.
yeah, I
Okay,
think
good.
that's fine.
Yeah, good.
I mean,
think that's
just-
fine.
Kurt is the obvious villain, but yeah, I mean, Dexter. I mean, he's the flawed, selfish protagonist until he learns a lesson.
he doesn't learn a lesson
Yeah.
in this one.
I can agree with
well,
that.
no, he doesn't. He doesn't, but we only know that because we've seen the second one. However, it appears that he does. But anyways, he's in his mom's car because they're all out of town and stuff, and he's with his buddy, and he's like, "Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna wake up every day at noon. I'm gonna sit by the poolside. I'm gonna order some Chinese food. I'm gonna have all these girls over and stuff." And while these two teens are fantasizing about their fun summer they're going to have, that is when Ed, on his rollerblades, because this is 1997 and everybody rollerblades, rollerblades into through the street, causing Dexter to whip, which sends him into a spin out. He spins out, smashing his teacher, Mr. Wheat slash Sinbad's car. As a
Nay-nayed.
result, what? What's that?
I said nay-nayed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Debo, bro.
okay. he whipped and then he nay-nayed. He nay-nayed all over Sinbad's car. And
Gross.
yep. And because of that, Sinbad, wants to pay for damages. He doesn't have a license. He doesn't have insurance. They take it to a body shop. Find out it's going to cost $1,900.
Seemed very
in-
low estimate to me.
We are supposed to feel bad for Dexter in this situation, but he is a 15-year-old driving without a license. Like, this is a valuable lesson that he needs to learn.
Absolutely.
I didn't feel bad because I feel like Mr. Wheat, like, I never saw him as like a villain. Like, he was just
Well,
like,
I'm assuming
No,
Mr.
Mr.
Wheat
Wheat was
was
the
portrayed
time.
that way. The reason why they portray it like we're supposed to feel bad for Dexter is because we're supposed to be 15-year-olds watching that. We're not supposed to be adults watching that. We're supposed to be 15 going, "Oh yeah, stick it to the man." Yeah,
I mean, the way-
I did watch this movie at the right time. 6-year-old me, and this movie came out when I was 6, and I was so into this movie. I think I don't remember ever seeing Mr. Wheat as actually bad.
Yeah, I think he was pretty lenient. I think it's
Yeah.
because, he
Yeah, he
called
was
him
in that- he
Shaft earlier in the movie, so he was like, I'm gonna give this kid a break.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I think the whole thing of it is just like, oh, Mr. Wheat, exemplifies academia and, teachers and stuff, and kids hate teachers, so, like, of course, you gotta fuck over the teacher.
You gotta hate the man.
But
Yeah,
man,
pretty much.
that man was just trying to keep the 60s alive. That's all he was
Yeah.
doing. He was like
Yeah, he
very
was.
like he had like the outfits. He was
He was
The
rocking the
going around
perm.
saying like Black Power.
Yep.
Like,
He was keeping a black man from going to jail.
Yeah.
Had that
Yeah, he
$22,000 car on a teacher's salary. I mean,
Yeah. Like
yeah,
he worked
I-
he worked
yeah.
hard for that car.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
he
could have
Some
been his very
dumbass just
first
came and totaled it.
car. Let's be honest, that could have been his very first car, and he's been keeping that car ever since.
Could have been.
sure.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. But what I do know is that after they visit the body shop and see that the damages are approximately $1,900 worth
Which
to repair,
is not
Dexter
that bad.
decides to take a summer
No,
job.
that was low.
That is pretty
Um,
good car shop. Wherever they went to, damn good car shop.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I also like I try to calculate everything in '90s money, because
I
we're
mean, you'd have to go to the
30
inflation
years removed
calculator.
from '90s money. Yeah,
Hey, if
yeah.
you want, I can do that
I
for
don't.
you real quick.
Okay, that'd be fine. um, um, but so Dexter tries to get a summer job, and he sees that there's this new, soon to be open place called Mondo Burger, and he tries to get a job there.
Well, he
And
does get a job there.
yeah, for a very short amount of time, um, because Mondo Burger is all about three things, and those three things are size, latex, and rules.
Okay, I have
N-
I have the numbers. Okay, so $1,900 would be approximately $3,642 in today's money. So
Yeah,
a
Still
hefty
very
chunk.
low.
sounds about right.
That's a pretty good chunk of change.
It
Yeah,
is, but I mean, he
sounds about right.
totaled that. He pretty much totaled that car, and he's saying that car was
He didn't
22,000.
total it. That
He
definitely.
did.
If
He
you
totaled
if you
that car.
He
That
he
would have
could
been a
drive.
total loss.
You could totally
no,
drive it
dude,
off.
no, he broke that front axle.
No,
Like
that would have been.
that front
Yeah.
axle
That's a
was
total
broken.
loss.
Not drivable.
Obviously, the front axle wasn't broken because he would pay a lot more if the front axle was broken.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's a very
Some-
low ball estimate because that car was totaled.
I'm saying there was less damage than what we're seeing.
I don't know. I saw a lot of fucking damage. He like crashed in like the entire side of it.
Hey, just because you crash into the side of it doesn't mean the car is gonna not be drivable. You're just gonna have a fucked up side. I've seen plenty of cars with some fucked up sides and they're still driving.
Oh, sure, but they
Real-
probably shouldn't be.
Really depends on where it hits. Um, but yeah, so we get a somewhat problematic scene at the end of the Mondo Burger sequence. Um,
Oh, the
Which-
transphobic joke.
Yep, yeah, we get a transphobic joke here. This is 1997, and something I will say about watching films from the 90s and stuff, or really any film that's like not like super current, is it makes me happy to see like the progress that has been made like societally, in terms of like realizing that oh, there's a lot of different people in this world and everyone deserves to exist.
If a movie's too recent though, it'll make me feel bad because it's like, oh, it's not gone yet.
um, yeah, yeah, that's true. But anyways, what's it called? Kurt is telling all of these soon-to-be Mondo Burger employees that here at Mondo Burger, Kurt is both your boss, your mother, and your father. To which Dexter responds with, "Kurt must look real funny naked."
Which I mean, yeah, it's a transphobic joke, but I thought it was kind of funny. I shouldn't say
It's
that
unfortunate.
sentence, but
I got a little chuckle out of it. I won't.
it's not a
really
sentence
It
I
felt
want
in
to say.
character.
Yeah. It was a good quip.
Yeah, and that's something we should mention too, is that this movie is chock full of those, kind of glazing over the plot a little bit and just kind of diving in here and there.
I mean, the
But
plot's
there's
not
a lot
really.
of
The plot's
Yeah, we don't
really
have to
not
go super
that.
hard on the plot.
but there's like a lot of really good, you know, comedy stylings of Keenan and Kel
It's
are
For
in
sure.
this
more
film.
a series of skits stringed together more than anything.
True.
Yeah, sometimes loosely, sometimes a little bit more tightly. Um, but yeah, and so because of that, uh, Dexter gets fired from Mondo Burger, um, and he reluctantly befriends the the well-meaning cashier Ed.
When he's just
uh,
like going on a milkshake bender.
so he's slamming milkshakes and stuff, and tries
So
to
I get
explain to Ed.
diabetes.
How much
Yeah,
is those milkshakes a piece? A milkshake's
I
like
was thinking about that
$5
too. I'm like,
now.
man,
Like that's a lot of
you owe
money.
this man almost
A $5
$2,000.
shake.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, for a good milkshake. For a good milkshake, where the fuck are you buying your milkshake from?
yeah. These aren't junior frosties. You know, these are full size milkshakes,
The Pulp
strawberry.
Fiction, milkshakes.
Yeah,
But I was thinking about that. Like he owes this guy $2,000, and he's just sitting there like with like 10 to 12 shakes on the table. Like, man, you don't need to be spending this money. This is
yeah,
like a
because he
day's worth of pay.
yeah, totally. Um, and it also made me wonder like where he had the money for that. I don't know. But I do think that this gives good insight to the character of Dexter, which is I'm going to do the things that my emotions tell me to do and not like think about like, oh, I've just spent $25 on milkshakes when like I could have given that to Mr. Wheat. Like
He spent like
but anyways,
$45 on milkshakes.
in
It's
today's money,
okay. He stole
yeah.
that from his mom too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he absolutely did steal that from his mom. However, he meets up with Ed, eventually explains to Ed the whole situation and stuff. Um, and he keeps telling Ed that he feels like he knows him, um, but he's not sure where. Um, Eventually, Ed drags him over to Dan Schneider and gets him hired. So now Dexter is a Good Burger employee.
Yay.
Yeah. Um, and let's see here. So they end up working together and stuff. But kind of in the middle of them working together, Dexter realizes that Ed was the one that caused his car crash, and he's like super mad for like 2 seconds. But like, how could you ever stay mad at Ed? Because as we find out through this like more in-depth time with Ed, that Ed is a being of pure ethereal joy,
Now,
and
are we gonna
he
just
should
skip
only
over the
ever be
fact?
loved.
Are we gonna skip over the fact that Dexter is manipulating Ed out of 80% of the
No,
We're
but
getting there.
nope, we're not
It-
going to. That just hasn't
it-
happened yet.
that happens. That happens
That hasn't
way.
happened yet.
That happens
That
way
hasn't
before.
happened yet.
That happens
That
way
hasn't happened
before.
yet.
Oh
That
my
happens
god.
before. That does happen for with the reveal that it was Ed and Dexter that caused the crash. Like that happens
I
way
think
later.
it happens after.
Nope, it's way after that.
Yeah, it happens after. You're outnumbered.
Oh,
I
We're
know
talking about the
y'all
sauce,
are
right?
misremembering, but
we're
I'm-
not
Yeah.
even to the sauce yet, bro.
Yeah, because it happens
sauce
when
has-
the sauce hasn't hit yet. It happens when the sauce is hitting.
And
Yep.
the reveal that it was Ed hasn't happened yet. Like they are
Yes, it has.
foreshadowing to it, but it hasn't happened
So
yet.
it happens. So it happens whenever they
I don't know.
drive the burger car for that very first delivery. Like it happens relatively quickly into Dexter working there.
Yeah, it does happen pretty quickly, and he gets over it real quick.
But anyways, Mondo Burger finally opens up, and they are quickly sending Good Burger out of business. Um, but Dexter finds out Ed makes his own sauce for lunch, um, and they start advertising the Ed sauce. Saves the Good Burger, and now we have Dexter exploiting Ed, uh, because Dexter gives Ed a contract saying Dexter's going to get 80% of anything Ed makes from the bonuses that he gets from the sauce.
Exploitation.
Yeah. So, because of this, Mondo Burger is no longer doing well. So, Kurt shows up and gives Ed a ride at one point and like tells Ed that he can pay him $10 an hour, um, and all these things. However, Ed's not down at all. Um, to which we then get the introduction of Roxanne, um, who is played by Carmen Electra. Um, and there was a conversation we had mid watching this film about Carmen Electra and the many, many different things that she's been in and performed in.
I,
If
I,
if you
I.
know a good film that Carmen Electra is in, please leave it in the comments because I would love to see it. I would love to see
Or
it.
I mean, guess we can say this one.
Yeah, this might be the best one.
I
To be
This
mean,
is
fair,
definitely the best one.
she's not an actress. She is a model in like I think fitness.
it doesn't
Yeah,
excuse
I
Meet the
don't know
Spartans.
much
That
about
doesn't
her.
excuse Meet the Spartans.
I mean,
Nothing excuses Meet the
at this point,
Spartans.
she is an actress. She's been in tons of movies.
Yeah,
I
I
think she
mean, that
fulfills her role.
yeah.
Everyone.
I mean, none of the movies that she's in that they're bad. It's not her fault, but
Yeah.
they're just terrible movies. She'll just take whatever stupid, shitty role.
So,
yeah. I don't really know the whole. I don't know like much about her. But please let us know if you
I
know
just
a good Carmen Electra film other than
I
this
guess
one.
it's because it's just
Oh
because I'm a
man, the Carmen
weirdo,
Electra
but it
fans are
just
gonna have our heads.
I
That'd
just
be
don't
that'd
find
be
her
great.
Hey,
I
attractive
would
I don't
love
think
it.
anymore.
we're
See,
I
I
don't
don't
think we're
find her
saying
funny. I don't find her
The
funny. She's
electrolytes.
not attractive anymore to me. She doesn't make
well,
me laugh.
I was about to say we're not saying anything bad about her, but then Smokey
oh
just
damn.
Hey,
started saying bad
I
things.
had to, I had to before you spoke for me. Because
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
don't
be a
see
no
the,
for me, Doug.
I don't get the appeal anymore. It's not. You can't fool me with makeup and all that. No, I
Oh,
seen Meet the
okay,
This old
Spartans.
that's enough of
Oh
hag,
this.
god.
this
That's enough
old
of this.
hag,
That's enough.
she's outlived her usefulness because she's not attractive anymore.
And while we're on this subject, fuck Taylor Swift, am I right?
Yeah, yeah. I hope Meat Canyon makes another video about her. um, but yeah, Kurt sends in a secret employee named Roxanne who is supposed to seduce him and figure out the recipe to the sauce. They go on a double date. Dexter and Monique go out together, and Ed and Roxanne go out together. However, during this date, Ed physically assaults Roxanne repeatedly. Um, not
It's
Accidentally.
funny. I
Yeah,
not
it's
laughed at
not.
not
that moment.
It's
sexually.
not intentionally. It's not
Just
intentionally or nothing.
yeah. No. Yeah, he's not trying to. It's just, it seems to be that no matter what he does, he's causing physical harm to her. And the next day, uh two things happen. Roxanne goes back to Mondo Burger and tells Kurt that she quits. She has a neck cast, a leg cast, an arm cast. She's on crutches, hobbling around, and while she quits, she falls over again. Um, just to make sure we really emphasize her physical pain. The other thing that happens is that a piece of paper came out of Dexter's jacket, and Monique found it. And she finds out that Dexter has been taking advantage of Ed this entire time, um, which makes Dexter confront Ed about it. And while he's talking to Ed about it, there's a stray dog that shows up, and Ed's trying to feed the dog a Mondo burger, and he doesn't want it, but he feeds him a good burger, and the dog goes for it. Which causes
like Ed and Dexter, you forgot about the fucking clowns, man. Everybody just let the clowns just be broke down. I mean, what that?
I mean,
that's
they
why
sent a
the
dog to do. They sent a dog to do their bidding. What did they
The
expect?
clowns.
And magical Ed understood everything that the dog said, but nobody believed him.
He got the number
Yeah,
of
that's
clowns
true.
wrong. He did get the number of clowns wrong. There were 5
It was,
clowns, not 4.
translation error.
But
Dog
still,
years,
I
yeah.
mean, definitely should have helped the clowns because
Yeah, that would have been cool. I feel like maybe they had something planned for that, and then because of
I mean, they did a cutaway gag where there was clowns waiting to be rescued.
yeah, but I guess what
I
I
don't
was
think
saying
it
is
was
they might
deeper
have
than
had
that.
something in the they might have had something in the back pocket for that, and they just never got to do it.
I don't think so. I think it was just for the
I
the
felt
gag
it was a
itself.
Give us the
complete
clown
gag.
cut.
I felt it was a complete gag.
Okay. I would
Clowns
have liked
got
to have seen them
shafted.
return. The clowns did get shafted. But they are weirded out by this dog not wanting to eat the Mondo burger. And so they decide to infiltrate Mondo Burger's kitchen in order to figure out what's going on with it. And they do that at first by dressing in drag. And they go in there dressed as 2 older ladies, I guess is what they're going for. Maybe
Ed is
maybe
rocking
that's
the
what.
outfit. I mean, he's
Yeah,
got
Ed
a
looked great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's something cool that we get. Is like, yeah, we may have that kind of transphobic joke, but then we also get this scene. So I thought that was awesome as well. Um, and they get into the kitchen, find out that they have been using an illegal food chemical in their burgers to make them huge. I'm gonna attempt to pronounce this triamphethol.
Yes, that's what it was, which is not a real thing. I don't think
Oh
it
no, it's
is.
not. I'm assuming that it's supposed
'Cause-
to take the place of monosodium glutamate, but
True.
that's
But if that thing actually existed, it would not be illegal in America. Let's face
The
it, we
Wumbo
would be
chemical.
using that
No.
shit. Like
Yeah.
if it made burgers that fucking big, we wouldn't care if it explode. We would wait for the burgers to explode and then we'd scoot up the exploded shit, and that's what we'd sell. It's
oh
already
yeah,
exploded.
totally. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you would have something like Joe meets the volcano burger, and it's just that's their whole theme is just the exploding burger.
Oh yeah,
That's
you get-
absolutely what they would do. Um, but anyways, so they find this out. However, Kurt quickly discovers them, and then has them committed to the Demented Hills Asylum.
jokes that I'm not cool with, to be honest. If I'm gonna be brutally honest, this is when I cut out of the movie. This is the only thing I didn't like.
This hit you hard.
Yeah.
The main reason why is because, unfortunately, this ain't really a joke. Like if you went to an asylum back in '97, this is how it would look. It would look like this. People would be treated like this. It wouldn't be funny anymore. It'd be like, oh, this is a problem that needs to be addressed, which it has been addressed. We can
Yeah, it
thankfully
has
say
now.
that. But at the time, it was still a very major problem.
I guess I didn't see it as we're making fun of we're making fun of it. I mean, it was supposed to be like shown as bad.
there
Like
was a character just named Psychopath.
it was like a mix. Like it wasn't supposed to be shown in a positive light. Like everyone's having a blast here. Let's make fun of
Yeah,
them.
no,
It
they
was like
didn't show it as. I guess they just didn't address it in a way that I was comfortable with. I felt that they were just poking fun at the whole ordeal. I didn't think that they were trying to address and send a message about
no,
it.
Good Burger
No.
didn't get that deep.
No, of course not. Which I'm not expecting it to. You don't have to get that deep. It's just my personal preference because of how too close to home that it gets for me. It's like it's
Made you uncomfortable. I
yeah.
get it.
Yeah, and I can't speak to Smokey's experience necessarily, but as the brother of a sister who had to go to a juvenile psychiatric ward for a couple years, and the son of a mother who was in and out of psych wards pretty consistently since I was about 16. Yeah, I mean it's not a great place.
I've never
It's
been
rough.
I've never been committed, but I've been scarily close to being committed.
Yeah, there
Just to
it's
clarify.
it's rough. But yeah, I do agree with Murda and everyone else. I think is in agreement too. Is like this is not a good place that they're getting put into. Um, However, they do get them in there. Ed makes a friend, which I thought was cute.
Heather.
Heather. Yep.
Ooh, this
And
is Linda Cardellini's first film.
oh, that's cool. I guess I didn't realize it was her first one. Makes sense though. But yeah, she knocks it out of the park. Um, I everything felt very believable and stuff. While they're there, kind of maybe not ingratiating themselves, but getting to know the residents of the Demented Hills Asylum. Um, Kurt and his henchmen break into Good Burger, specifically after Ed's sauce. They find a big old pot of it just sitting on the stove, and they fill it up with shark poison.
Which, like, what is shark
Jesus.
poison?
Wait, I know it would be it's got a bad name, shark poison and all, but it'd been very unfortunate for their plan if it just turns out like it doesn't affect humans like that, and it's just like
It only affects sharks.
it's like
Is
just
that
a
what
I mean, I
happened?
wouldn't be
spice.
surprised.
Is
Like,
that what
if it was
happened to
just
the?
repellent.
If it just
Is
made
it
the
what-
Ed sauce even better, like it was just a spice.
Maybe this is what happened to the sharks in the craft. They
Oh
got
shit! They
shark
got,
poisoned.
they
Oh,
got
shit.
shark poisoned.
They get fed the
Um,
Ed sauce.
yeah, I mean, something that is shark poison is mercury. Um, or that
You
makes
would
their meat
know
poisonous.
you would definitely
But
know if
they
mercury
didn't
was put
have
in
mercury.
you would know there's no way you could dilute
Wouldn't it be
the
like
mercury in the
silvery?
it would be
Yeah, it would. And
I
it would also
feel that
look
it would
weird and
separate
smell
yeah
weird.
it
It would
would
be all
not
wrong
be
in all kinds of ways.
like there would be a liquid metallic sheen to it.
Do you think it's because they couldn't say rat poison or something?
It could be, yeah, potentially it could be that. It could also be that because of sharks' place in the food chain, they often have really, really high levels of mercury. So there is a thing called shark poison, and it's when a human has like eaten a shark that was really, really high in mercury. It's essentially low grade
So
mercury
it's
poisoning.
shark poisoning to humans.
Yeah.
Damn, they're gonna,
Uh,
they're gonna mercury poison them. Pretty intense.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's that. I don't know if maybe like at the time there was like a bit about sharks maybe. I don't
I could
know.
just see
I
it. I
don't
could
know.
just see like sharks being a
I
dangerous large thing that this is like poison and it's enough to kill a shark.
I know that it's a
Yeah.
stretch. Could it be like the bat shark repellent call? Like it could it be like a call to a weird call to that maybe? That's the only thing I can think of.
I don't know.
And
I'm not
that's a
really
I'm
sure.
stretch.
accepting that as canon from now on.
That is a stretch. I'm really
Uh,
stretching to make that. That's the only. It's because it's got shark in the name.
Nope,
Nope.
it is a Batman deep cut. That is exactly what that was. Moving on.
Okay, moving on. Moving on. Otis, who is sleeping at the Good Burger, which makes me wonder, why is Otis sleeping at the Good Burger? But he is. It's fine, I guess. He's old. He shouldn't have to be working at all, in my personal opinion. However, he's there. He sees them. He tries to call the cops. However, Kurt and his goons send him off to Demented Hills to join the boys, Dexter and Ed. Otis is played by the legendary Abe Vigoda. I think this is the first time I'm mentioning him, like, actually in the plot here, because he does get to play a role here in the asylum. Otis tells Ed and Dexter about the scheme, and so they hatch a plan to escape from Demented Hills. And their plan is probably one of the funkiest plans that I've ever seen. Because essentially what they do, they know the routines and stuff, and they wait. They put on some real good music,
Some
and
funkadelic.
yep, they put on some
Mm-hmm.
funkadelic,
Little George
and
Clinton.
yep, and then George Clinton is also a resident of Demented Hills, and it causes all of the residents to bust out in synchronized dancing, which is distracting the guards.
Cue
Uh,
6-year-old Murda's first encounter with funkadelic.
nice. Um, I mean,
Legendary
that
moment.
probably would have been my first
I,
encounter
I was
with
gonna say, I feel
funkadelic
like it's
too.
probably all of ours, right?
Like, I can't think of a time earlier that I had heard that I would have heard funkadelic.
Maybe that Bow Wow Wow Yippee Yo Yippee Yay song.
Yeah.
No, that was after this.
Atomic Dog. Atomic
Yeah.
Dog
Yeah, but I don't know if
wasn't after that. Atomic Dog was in the 80s.
Yeah, but I guess I mean, like, whenever it was like used in other things, like when it was being sampled. I feel like there was a time in the early aughts where it was being sampled a lot.
Yeah.
but that would have been in my conscious mind. Probably at the same time, I would have watched Good Burger.
True.
So
I guess I
checkmate.
just mean like of what I can pinpoint and think of as my first encounter.
But yeah, it's great. Seeing George Clinton on screen is great. Everything about this scene is like pretty awesome. Ed goes over or is it Ed or is it Dexter? I think it might be Dexter. Um, he goes over, starts dancing with the guards, starts pulling them a little bit closer. He's like, "Come on, don't you want to dance with all of us?"
It's Dexter. Just wanted
Yeah,
to run.
dances. Dances with him. Hits one dude in the shin. He buckles over a little bit. Knees the other guy in the crotch, forcing him to buckle over. They're both kind of like hobbled over in pain. Hits both of them on the back of the head. Grabs the keys, and they escape Demented Hills. And that is Ed, Dexter, Otis, and Heather all escape Demented Hills. To which they find an ice cream truck. Does anyone remember the name of this ice cream truck?
It was like Obese Bros ice cream.
Yeah, it was Obese Bros.
I know that
It's
it would have
classic.
been too much of a deep cut, but should have been a Robert Prongay joke.
Okay. I don't know what that all would entail.
That's Mr. The Mr. Softy Hitman that from real life. He would literally drive a fucking ice cream
Oh
truck.
shit! Oh no, they're not gonna do that, dude. This is Nickelodeon. They're not gonna do that.
Yeah,
All they
man.
have to
At
do
best,
is-
they're gonna just ask like little girls
They
for feet
literally
pictures.
just have to make it a Mr. Softy truck.
God,
They
dude.
just have to make it a Mr. Softy truck, and I would go, "Oh shit, that's prom gay! Come on, give it to me. Give me my prom
but they-
gay."
Nope. Instead, we get Obese Boys. or obese bros ice cream, and they are trying to book it back to Good Burger because the sauce is currently filled with shark poison, and they're about to serve it. Two little old ladies are in there. They're the first customers of the day, right when they open, and we get a pretty awesome chase sequence between two work vans.
I mean,
The
you should have just let the old ladies be a guinea pig and see what it does anyway. It wouldn't have hurt nobody. Nobody would have been upset.
The
Except for those
experiment.
old
There's a lot of
ladies.
old lady hate in this episode.
Yeah, there is. I don't know where it's coming from or why.
Deep seated.
Oh, um, but yeah. So, anyways, they're having this fight or this truck chase scene, and obese bros truck starts throwing ice cream at them. I don't remember exactly what happens, but they're able to get there first. I feel like they maybe made them crash or something. Um, but anyways, they get there. Ed like smacks, like tackles this old lady super hard, um, and this is when Ed and Dexter plan to hatch a plan to expose Mondo Burger. Um, so they save the day, they remake the sauce, all that stuff. They hatch their plan. Um, they're both going to sneak in through the top, and then Dexter is going to create a distraction while Ed takes multiple cans of the triamphethol, and that way they have a can to show the cops that they're using it. Um, however, Kurt and all of his goons are able to chase Dexter, catch him on the roof, and as soon as something bad's about to happen, Ed shows up again with an empty can, um, and then all of the burgers start exploding because Ed, in all of his infinite wisdom and joy, knows that the cops are not going to be able to do really anything but just like a can of human growth hormone or triamphethol or whatever it is that they're using. And he actually just dumped all of the triamphethol into all of the meat that they were currently processing. And it makes the burgers explode. They get really big and then they explode. Um, and the building starts collapsing and stuff. They start trying to escape. In the process of this building collapsing, there's a giant artificial burger that falls from the roof and smashes Mr. Wheat's newly repaired car. So after all that time, he finally got it repaired, went to Mondo Burger, and just completely obliterated his vehicle again.
And like Dexter is like taking triumph in the fact that his car got smashed again. Like
Yeah,
Mr.
he's
Weed
happy
has
about it.
ever done
He's
anything
happy about it.
actually wrong. Mr. Weed didn't even go to the police.
Mr. Wheat helped him
Gave him a
out.
chance.
Yeah, he did. He gave him a
Gave him
chance
a
to
Black man
chance
out of
and then he's
jail.
It
like,
just
yeah.
goes to show Dexter's the villain. He's the bad guy. He planned it. He wanted the dude to park right there because he
and
knew his car would get smashed.
and we should say in
Mastermind.
all this and we should say in all this time, Dexter has not made enough money to pay Mr. Wheat everything that he owes him.
Doesn't even
After
now.
seeing his car smashed, he gives him the money, and then is just like bragging in his face about his car being smashed. Like it's very crass. Like I feel bad for Mr. Wheat. Um, uh, After all this, things kind of settled down. Dexter apologizes to Ed yet again for because they never really got to have that conversation. He apologizes to Ed for taking advantage of him, um, and tells Ed he gets to keep all the profits from now on. They return back to Good Burger, and their coworkers hail them as heroes. And then we get the classic finishing line of Ed saying, "There's only one thing left to do now." Then he drops the classic, "Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?"
First and last
Roll
line of the
credits.
movie.
Yep.
Yep.
Which is it? I'm gonna wait for that, but I'm gonna have to address the Carmel Electra stuff, ain't I?
I mean, I'm not
So
going to talk about it
apparently,
more unless you are.
apparently, I'm being called out on our group chat. Okay, I will say she objectively she's an attractive person, but to me, she's like that dude that's like he knows you're not attracted to them, so he's trying to make you laugh. So he's
I am
trying
right here.
to
Wait,
to-
what are you trying to say? Say it
You-
again. Start from the top.
Okay, so Carmen Electric, she's like that dude that you're not attracted to, and they know it. So they try to make you laugh to make you attracted to them, but it's never gonna. So it's like it's coming on too hard. It gets that kind of attractiveness to me. It's just like no,
I feel like
it's
she just
not
like
gonna
pull
work.
out some bomb ass blow and have like a fun time. I feel like that's the type of person she is.
Yeah, that's the
Oh
kind of
yeah.
person I think
I
she
mean,
is
she was
too.
married to Charlie Sheen. You know, she was partying for a while.
Hey,
And that dude from that tattoo show.
Oh yeah, that guy.
all of this goes out
I'm
the
sure he has
window.
blow. I'm just saying.
All of
I'm
this,
sure.
all of these arguments go out the window with three words: meet the Spartans.
Okay.
And I will clarify, you're allowed to not think she's attractive. I felt like it was like because of her age now she's not
No,
attractive. That
no,
didn't
it
sit
has
well
nothing
with
to
me.
do with.
You're
It has
allowed to
nothing to
not
do
be
with it.
attracted to somebody who
It
is
has nothing to do
objectively
with it. It
attractive.
has nothing to do with
We had this
it.
whole
Nothing.
conversation last night when we were talking about Leo DiCaprio and how I have never ever been attracted to him.
Wait. Who
So
was the other guy you were talking about? Who's the other guy that you're talking about?
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh God, I fucking hate him so much.
That's fine,
What?
but it
I don't
seemed
understand it either.
What is
I mean,
happening?
I don't know. I don't get it.
the whole conversation was, is Leo DiCaprio hotter than RDJ? And I said no, because Leo DiCaprio is great actor, but in his personal life he's disgusting, and I was never attracted to him. And if we're comparing to Robert Downey Jr.,
I mean,
that man is way more attractive than Leo.
unfortunately, Leonardo DiCaprio, he's made me laugh before. So.
Oh.
I'm not saying he hasn't. I mean, sure, he's made me laugh. I enjoy his performances, but I've never found him attractive, even like in the 90s.
I will agree with you. In his early days, it was not there. He had to grow into it. But now
Gilbert.
it's hard to it's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Well, he
Gilbert.
definitely lost himself in his role here in Good Burger. I didn't even notice him.
Yeah, I didn't notice him either.
Nothing to do with Good Burger, but I'm just
No.
saying,
It's
you
just-
don't have to find everybody attractive, even if they're just objectively attractive. But I felt your first statement was something about how she was like old and makeup can't hide her looks or something.
No, that's not what I was. The makeup line was not about her.
And you said all old people should die, and it was just this whole
yeah,
like
yeah, I remember that
old
part.
women,
it got
old
real
women
fucking dark.
are useless to society. Yeah.
Hey, all I said, it's okay for the old people to eat the shark poison. What's the worst?
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
So jumping into the production here of Good Burger. So Good Burger is interesting. Now we have mentioned about the second one. However, filming for this first Good Burger took place in just 6 weeks, from March 9th to April 21st, 1997, really pushing these kid actors to the absolute limits, if you ask me, because 6 weeks to do all the stuff, it just seems like that's a lot. Most of the scenes were recorded along Glendora Avenue in West Covina, California, including at a restaurant currently known as Peter's El Loco.
Across the street was Blockbuster Pavilion.
Yeah, I kept
R.I.P.
seeing that Blockbuster. Yeah.
Yeah.
I cleaned out an old wallet and I found a Blockbuster card.
Oh, save
Oh
it. It's a
wow, still
relic.
laminated.
Yeah.
Of
Relic.
course, yeah, it is a relic.
It was like in a
It's
little
a
Belongs in
treasure.
a museum. What was that, Murda? Sorry.
Oh, I said it was in a little sleeve.
Ooh, nice. So fancy. The other kind of cool stuff we have, there was an alternate version of this film. When this movie originally aired on Nickelodeon, two actors from the original film were brought into brief recording sessions to both redub two lines that weren't deemed or that were deemed inappropriate for the kids network. Abe Vigoda's line "I think I broke my ass" was changed to "I think I broke my tail," while George Clinton changes his "Oh, this music sucks" to "Oh, this music stinks." The original lines were revived when the movie aired on Nick at Night in
I was
2007.
about to say when we watched, he did say I broke my ass,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then one guy's like, "I'll see you in hell."
yeah, I remember that too. It was sick.
That's the dude
Nickelodeon
from the first Batman movie.
Nickelodeon strangely would
Knox.
Nickelodeon would strangely allow hell. That would be allowed on the network. They reference it
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah, yeah. They do. They do. As we already kind of discussed a little bit, Abe Vigoda was 76 at the time of filming. However, there is a running sequence with him, and he did all those himself, which was the running,
He
climbing
was
over fences, and
spry.
jumping over fences. Yeah, pretty
I
spry for a
mean,
76-year-old.
he stopped working at like what, like 92 or something like that. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like
got to be up there.
94 or
yeah.
90,
So
93 or something.
Let's see. The theatrical trailer featured a scene that didn't quite make it to the film. It featured a Good Burger customer saying, "Just give me a good shake," and then Ed reaching over the counter to shake him physically.
It's a good
In
bit.
classic, yeah, classic
Classic.
Ed
That
fashion.
should have made it into the
Uh,
I feel
movie.
like I remember that. That sounds
I
really
do too.
familiar.
Yeah, I remember that.
To promote this film, Nickelodeon created the Good Burger, Good Premiere, Good Sweepstakes. In this contest, four grand prize winners won tickets to the film's premiere, $1,000 and a chance to meet both Keenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell. 100 first prize winners won a fabric hat with dreadlocks resembling those of Ed's, and 500 second place winners won an exclusive copy of the film's soundtrack, which I would not mind having a copy of this film's soundtrack because this soundtrack slaps and it slaps
Yeah,
hard.
this
It has
soundtrack
Less Than
is
Jake, it's
amazing.
got
I think
Parliament, it's got all kinds of excellent artists throughout the whole movie.
I think
Mint condition.
Omi mentioned that most of his research for this movie was about the soundtrack.
Oh yeah, take it away, Omi, since we got to the
Oh, I mean,
soundtrack.
like you pretty much said everything I was gonna say. This
Oh
soundtrack
shit!
is phenomenal.
Damn it!
Like it's incredible though. Like it just like some of the other people you mentioned on here, like the Far Side is on here.
Yep.
Presidents of the United States of America is on here.
Yes,
Like
they are. I called
De
them
La
out.
Soul.
Yeah, the
Like
De La Soul song, "Fries with That Shake." Yeah, dude,
that
totally.
is incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you said Starfish said that the opening song was Less Than Jake as well.
Yeah. So the "I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude" is a Less Than Jake song, and the interesting thing about that is that let's see, Kel actually went into the studio when they were recording that one to actually sing on it. So it's his actual voice, like on their album. It is Kel singing with alongside of Less Than Jake, which Less Than Jake, uh, fairly popular third wave ska band. Um, they've done a lot of different work. I'm trying to think of what would be their most popular thing that people would know, other than this
Um.
thing. Um,
The Boring Town song.
yeah, or "All My Best Friends Are Metalheads" is really good too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
We're doing a
that's
great job of representing them, by the way.
uh yeah No, they're way better than that. Um, but they do lots of really great things. Losing Streak, 1996 is the album right before this film, and it has tons and tons of great early 90s third wave ska bangers. If you like Real Big Fish, no effects, that kind of stuff, please check out Less Than Jake if you don't know them, because you'll find someone excellent to listen to. Um, but yeah, and of course, like all really any of the bands that are in this soundtrack, or single artists and stuff, like they all deserve listening. Um, they're all just great, as Omi has stated.
I mean, they kind of continued that in Keenan and Kel. I mean, they had a real fire theme song, the show.
Yeah, Coolio.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, let's see. The
and
scene.
and all that had a good theme song too. So
Yeah, all
Yeah,
that.
theirs was
Yeah, that one
TLC,
still gets
wasn't
stuck
it?
in
yeah,
my.
TLC, I
Yes.
think.
Yeah.
Just shows like how cool Nickelodeon was in the late '90s and early aughts. Just like having total pop culture icons of the time, just
It
like
it
constantly involved with
made
them.
me
Right.
think.
They
It just made me think of like SpongeBob. Like the first few seasons, how they got
Yeah.
Ween and the Cramps and like Pantera.
Hmm.
right. Like they had relevant music, they had ugly cartoons. Like it was really really cool to watch Nickelodeon back then. They had, their version of SNL and their
Hmm.
version of Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark got me into horror,
Hey,
and that's
same.
like my favorite thing. So
No, I super feel that. Um, yeah, I mean, without that, I would not, be near as much of a horror nerd as I am.
Goosebumps was my gateway.
I mean, Goosebumps was there too.
It's,
Yeah.
it's good. That's a great gateway.
Well,
But
do we
unfortunately,
want to get
Nickelodeon fell.
into? Well,
It fell
yes.
hard.
Yeah,
As
but I want to talk about Good Burger. Ed and Dexter have their dates with Roxanne and Monique, and that was filmed at the Malibu Castle in Redondo Beach, California. As of this year, the castle and golf courses are completely gone, and it is now the site of a Hilton Garden Inn.
that's not as fun.
No,
No,
it's
that's not
not.
the same as like a. Are there multiple Malibu Castle type of
No, I think it.
locations,
No, I
or is
don't
that
think.
just one for that?
I think it was just the one.
Because in Florida, we used to have like a Malibu Grand Prix situation, which is also like mini golf
Oh no, you're
and
right.
stuff.
You're right. It's a chain.
Oh,
It's a
it is.
chain.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a chain
For
of
the record, it was also demolished, so that's why I'm wondering. They just did them all at once.
oh, I don't know. I don't know that. But what I'm seeing here is like there's one in San Antonio as well. And yeah, they uh let's see, the one in San Antonio closed this year, September 7th, like it just recently closed. So yeah, they might have like all closed down at once. I don't know, like, without like further research into that. I didn't actually dig into that, and just you know
It's for a different show.
yeah. Places you can't go to anymore now that you're
Yeah,
old.
it's called Your
Yeah.
Childhood is Dead.
Blockbuster and Malibu Castle, forget about it.
Oh
Well,
no.
do we want to get into final thoughts and ratings so we can talk about the
Oh
next
yeah.
movie?
Yep.
Who wants to
Uh,
go first on
I'll
final
take it.
thoughts? Okay.
Do it.
Yeah,
Go.
so, upon rewatching this movie, like literally yesterday, I still really, really liked it. It shares a lot of DNA, I think, with Wayne's World. Like it was kind of like their flagship skit from all that
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
into a movie with their two, kind of breakthrough stars, the same way Wayne's World was for SNL.
Yeah.
Um, it's that same kind of goofy humor that's like it's so dumb it's funny, and somehow it all works together. Uh, with the soundtrack, with the setting, for whatever reason, these jokes still seem to land for this movie, which we'll get into it later. But they try the same jokes in the new one, and it's not good. And I couldn't
I have
understand
thoughts on
why
that.
that is. So, but yeah, for this one, I still think it holds up really well. I had a good time watching it. I wrote in my notes here, and I mentioned this earlier before we started recording, that it reminded me not just of Wayne's World, but of the House Party movies, but like for kids.
I don't know that I've ever seen any of those movies.
What? You should watch all. There's a lot of them. You should watch at least 3 of them.
Like, does anybody else know of these movies? Just not
I
What
me.
are
know
they?
of them, never seen them.
No, I have
House
never
Party,
seen
Kid
House
and
Party.
Play. You guys are really showing
Um,
how white you are. All right.
Oh wait,
yeah,
now
no,
I know what you're talking about. I thought you were talking
I've
about.
seen
Okay, you
this.
guys are looking it
I've
up. All
seen
right,
this.
good, good.
Yeah, I've seen this. It just,
I thought you were talking about
it's
the
been
one with
years.
what's his name? The dude Zac Efron one. I thought that's what you were
Zac
talking about.
Efron. Oh,
No,
Zac Efron was in a House
Neighbors
Party
or
movie.
something.
oh,
There
Oh,
was
Neighbors.
like a
Neighbors.
okay, okay.
there's a house
No,
party like a 24 hour like 24/7 house party thing involved in that. That's why I thought.
gotcha, gotcha. So yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a solid 3.
nice.
Nice. I guess I'll go. I mostly mirroring this Omi's thoughts on that. I mean, I had a really good time with it. This movie was like my favorite movie when it came out. I saw it in theaters. I watched all that. I watched Keenan and Kel. And when this movie came out on VHS, like it was over. We just watched it all the fucking time. I didn't know if it was going to hold up as well. I didn't know if it was pure nostalgia that I was thinking about this movie in, but upon watching it, like I felt like it held up well. It was not just pure nostalgia that makes this movie good. Um, I thought both Keenan and Kel were just super on point with their delivery. I thought that they were doing some like it felt very improv, and they were just like hitting those improv and like making each other laugh. I felt like a lot of the lines like Sinbad, I could tell like he was just coming in real hot on the improv. Um, I just thought overall it was it was pretty good. I mean, it's bound to be a little bit problematic. Anything from the '90s is, but like it wasn't egregious to me. I felt like even for a kids movie, it was very entertaining. Like it had like that good '90s mix of like for kids and adults. Like we're making this movie for kids, but like adults can stand to watch it because it has some merit. Which I don't watch much for kids movies these days because I do not have children, but the odd times that I do see them, I basically never enjoy them. I feel like there's just
Yeah.
nothing for adults, and I'm sure that depends on the movies. I'm sure there's some good ones, but
I thought you were
just
saying that you rarely enjoy kids, like in general, and I was just like, man, this
I
is
mean, no,
this is
I like kids. I like kids, but
peek
You
when
behind
like
the
Disney
curtain.
movies?
I do like Disney movies, but I haven't seen a lot of the
Disney's
newer
different though.
Disney movies
Well, that's
though.
different. You know what? My actual issue with a lot of Disney movies isn't what a lot of like stupid like racist people have. It's really like dialogue like what we're going to be getting into the second movie. It's like the clumsiness that's similar, not as bad, but similar to that.
I mean, I feel like a lot like kids movies like now there's just like no like care put into them. It's just like what this is just
YOLO
like a money grab
internet reference.
of like
Stop.
patronizing kids. Um, but anyway, I think I'm going um 3.5. I got a lot of laughs. It held up better than I thought it would. And I feel like even if I hadn't seen it, I would still find things to enjoy. So 3.5.
Right on. I'll take it from there. I'm generally pretty harsh with things, especially things that like, we don't really get like much character development, but one of the things that I will say is my enjoyment of this relies on the fact that at this time, a lot of comedy stuff, especially comedy geared for kids, was more geared towards like they took the rule of 3 in comedy and they're just like, what if we did a rule of 6? Okay, what if we did a rule of 12? And that's quite apparent in Good Burger. I think something late 90s early thousands Nickelodeon got oh so right with comedy and their cartoons and stuff, is they took something that was like funny the third time and then intensified it to where it to almost the realm of complete indescribability or like ridiculousness, just incredibly over the top. And I think both Keenan and Kel do a great job exemplifying that in the real world, like outside of cartoon space. Um, like it, they just they really are it, it free to do the things that they want to do. The fact that they shot this in 6 weeks tells me that a lot of the direction for them was probably like, here's the line you need to say, and then the rest of it you just do whatever. Just do Dexter. Just do Ed. And as a result, we get these like really organic, like fun, uh, bewildering at times, like comedic moments. Um, so even though this film is not gonna sit on shelves alongside like Casablanca or Lawrence of Arabia or like very intense films of uh, that are universally praised for their doings. I do think that this should be on your shelf regardless. For me, this is a 3.5 out of 5, and almost all the points on that are based around two things. One, my pure enjoyment of the hilarity, and two, the child endangerment that I did not talk about in the plot that we got within the first
Oh
10
yeah.
minutes of the movie. I love it when a film is not afraid to like just
to hurt
to
children.
Just
yeah, pretty
hurt
much.
children.
Yep, that's right.
Hey,
Old
that's
people, children,
No
everybody
one's
can
safe.
get this smoke. These hands are rated E.
yeah,
That's
I mean,
right.
I
That's
feel like
right.
that was part of us rating Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah, it was. It was. And I'm gonna continue the trend. Because Ed is rollerblading, smacks into a lady who has a baby, has the baby in his hands, goes through a basketball game, and the basketball players now have the child. They think it is the ball, and they proceed to they don't dunk the baby, but they make a 2-point shot, and they get a swish with the baby. So that was
He
ridiculous.
also gives a little girl like 20 back of the head concussion.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He does. But anyways, I think it's great. There also prior to seeing the second film, this was sitting at a 2.5.
Fair. All right, Smokey or Spooch?
Spood, you go. I gotta go
Yes.
last.
Oh yes. I was actually gonna mention. I'm glad you mentioned the that first scene because that kind of sparked what I found really charming with it. It almost has the same charm as like Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, I can
Yeah, I
see
can see
that.
that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's got
definitely.
that type of like kind of whimsical like strangeness to it, and around it. I know like everyone is almost equally as strange, or at least I guess accepting it's strange, but everyone's sort of like a straight man to Ed. um,
Yeah, pretty much.
but yeah, I mean, I definitely have a huge nostalgic connection to this. I mean, this has probably been rented from Blockbuster like 1,000 times, uh, and it definitely held up. It's been a while since I watched it, but the comedy holds up. I mean, it's the timing's great. I mean, it's what we'll get into with the second film is that I think the second film really highlights what this film did right, of just with its timing, with the way it cut, with the soundtrack and how it used music. Um, is I mean, it's the soundtrack is iconic. I mean, I have this on Spotify now.
Nice.
um, but yeah, I give it a 4.5 out of 5. Take that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
Take that.
take that.
Oh,
I'm
Well,
also bolstered by the second one, if we're comparing them.
Oh yeah, just only comparing it to the second one, it's a god tier.
It's a masterpiece,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
for sure. I guess
Yep.
that leaves just me, and I'm torn. I can't decide because I do have a nostalgic connection for this, but I was a bit too old for it when I first saw it. I mean, I do enjoy it. It's not bad or anything, but it doesn't ring home for me like it would for someone that saw it at 6 years old. I saw it more like middle school, high school. It just would randomly always come on Nickelodeon, and sometimes that's all I would have to watch. So I'd either watch the first half or the second half, depending on what was on. And I knew this was the first time I've watched it fully from start to finish with no interruptions or not finishing it. So it just, I don't know. It just, I want to say 2.5, but I'm gonna say a 3. I'm gonna give it a 3.
Yay!
Because it's not. Of course, I do have to mention that the second movie definitely elevates this. But definitely, if I don't see people really getting it now. I don't see any of the current generations gelling with this. You might give it a chance. I wouldn't say don't give it a chance. But don't be surprised if it's not your cup of tea. If it's just like, it's just not it's not clicking. Don't but yeah, it's definitely your average Nickelodeon movie. I can give it that. I get chuckles out of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I
what
mean,
I'll say to you like may not ring true exactly to like today's generation, but I think it's gonna ring true to the next generation and the next generations after and after more than the second one did because of how
Though
this one was a lot less dated.
I wonder, I wouldn't
yeah.
be
True.
surprised if like the people who like the second one like go back and watch this one and it gets like a new following from that.
You never
Yeah.
know with these Zooms.
No, I
They
don't know,
they just
but
rediscovered Freebird
well,
a
this,
while ago,
this
and
I don't think this
they're
I don't think the
psyched for it.
second one's audience like I don't know who what generation is like the
I'm
like 6
unfortunately
to 12.
the
I don't
no.
know.
It's
Unfortunately,
Gen Alpha.
we'll get into that when we'll get into that when we get to the second one. We'll get into that. But
Yeah.
uh,
Uh,
can we do a little pause for a minute before we start the second one? Does anybody mind if we take a 5-minute break?
Yeah, that's
Nope.
fine.
I'm good.
All right.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
What do you want to get?
Ice cream.
Chocolate?
Yeah.
Let's go, honey.
Together, we can find a child by signing up for free wireless Amber Alerts on your cell phone.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Welcome back to the Loose Butthole Reviews. I am your host, Smokey, and joining with me again is my co-host, Spooge.
Hello.
And, of course, our co-hosts, Murda and Starfish, are joining with us again.
I never left.
We've been here for so long.
And our special guest is still joining with us for this one, Omi.
Don't call it a comeback.
He's not getting away
Oh,
either.
shit.
Fucking trapped.
And it's the same review, it's the same video, but before we get into the review proper, I have to give the 3 rules of our rating system before I reveal the movie. First rule is it must be a fraction of 5. 1 means we hate it, 5 means we love it. Rule number 2, if we want our money back, we give it a good old Jeff Goldblum. And rule number 3, if we all agree that it deserves a 6 out of 5, a God tier, then it'll get one. And today, we are reviewing Good Burger 2, or piece of shit, fucking garbage.
Say, I have a feeling this one might get a God tier, right?
Oh,
Yep, it sure
I
will.
Tell you right now, it is disqualified from the running. So
Good Burger 2, 2023 comedy film starring Kenan Thompson, Kel Mitchell, and Jillian Bell.
It's the most recent movie that we've reviewed so far, and I'm sorry.
Fancy.
I am absolutely sorry to everybody. I made us do this. I was like, oh, they shadow dropped it, so let's do it.
So for our listeners, the theme for December was supposed to be like actual good movies, like
decent
Critics'
December.
Choice, with us being the critics, but like good movies, because we've done so many campy and like bad movies. And then this movie dropped, and we had to review it, and it ruined the whole theme for December.
It sure did.
Just blew it right out the water. This is no Good Burger. This is no fucking Good Burger, that's for sure.
Yeah, and before we hop into it, just a little precursor here. Pretty much everyone hates this film, at least of us 4. Yes?
5.
I don't know, 5. I guess I'll make Omi's. I will assume that he doesn't like it as well.
Oh no, this movie's fucking awful.
Okay, cool.
What about hold on. Spooge, do you love this movie? Just to clarify. You ain't said nothing. Spooge?
No, I don't like this movie. This movie sucks.
Okay, good.
All right, so the precursor is this. We don't like it. However, talks of a sequel for the original Good Burger film started becoming public in 2018, as both Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell had mentioned it publicly. 3 years. This is 3 years after the pair were reunited in a sketch on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon in 2015. The sequel was officially announced in March of 2023 under its current title, Good Burger 2, along with both actors returning to reprise their roles, Dexter Reed and Ed, respectively.
I'm calling them out now. If they said they wanted to get this made, it's because they wanted to. They knew it'd be an easy check.
We'll talk about that.
I'm so upset. You don't understand.
I understand. I watched it. I understand perfectly.
Like this does
awesomeness
not need to be a
films.
franchise. I get that it was a skit on the show that fucking like I'm blank. I know we were just talking
All
about
That.
it, but all that. Yes, thank you. But for fuck's sake, man, it's not. No, I know what they were trying to do. I get it. They were trying to have our generation, a majority of us, have kids now, and they want us to go, oh, kids, sit down and watch this. To get distracted by this. Love this like we love this. Do you love what I loved? Of course. Look how hip, look how cool we are. When, to be honest, we shouldn't really try to get fucking connected with our kids because the current
Whoa.
generations are
Whoa.
fucking trash.
Whoa, dude, stop. Stop.
Do not
Just
connect
stop.
with your children. Don't connect with your children. That's
Yeah.
our stance.
Jingle,
I
jingle
guess.
the keys.
That's
jingle
that's
the
Smokey's
keys.
stance.
Um, cut to something jingling.
Okay, we'll cut to something jingling. I'm sure you'll take care of that. So something that I mentioned in Good Burger 1 is that they filmed Good Burger 1 in 6 weeks. Well, guess what? Good Burger 2, same treatment. They began filming on May 18th and they wrapped up in the final weeks of June. It is not very apparent in the first one that they did that. It is very apparent in this one that they did that. They needed a lot more time, just in general.
They didn't need to do this.
Think about this. Do it maybe a little bit better. Think about the decisions that were being made. This is very schlock.
If
And
anything should have been scrapped for a tax write-off, it should have been this. It should have fucking been this. I would have.
Yeah.
Nobody would have cared. Nobody would have been like, "Oh, why is Good Burger 2 gone forever because of taxes?" Nobody would have cared. You gotta pick and choose what you tax write-off, man. This is perfect example.
The other thing that I will mention about this is that to date, Good Burger is at the #1 spot for the most watched domestic launch in its first 3 days of an original film in Paramount Plus history.
Good Burger 2.
Yeah, Good Burger 2 specifically. Sorry. Viewership of for the film was up 50% when compared to Paramount's previous record holder, Pet Sematary Bloodlines. So right now, this is Paramount's biggest thing that they've ever dropped.
I mean, yeah, it worked. The marketing strategy did work. They got a bunch of us fucking stupid-ass millennials to go, oh, what the fuck is this? Let's watch it. And look at us now. Look where we at.
I just have to wonder if any of the millennials are the ones rating it highly. I don't think so.
I really hope not.
I have no idea. However,
do we have a Metacritic score for this? Does anybody know the Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, I'll get it for you real quick. But other thing,
I'll do a plot synopsis here in a second. Just
yeah, I'm about to relinquish it to you.
So on Rotten Tomatoes, its tomato meter is 59%, but its audience score is 71%.
What?
Say that again.
I'm disappointed in the audience. Audience score 71%.
Bull.
And let's go ahead and compare that.
What the fuck?
Yep. So let's go ahead and compare that to the original Good Burger film, which is a critic score of 33 and an audience score of 63. So everyone is saying that the second one is better than the first one.
That is insane.
That's not true.
Yeah. At least this person named Cradle of Lincoln Park and gave it.
Oh.
That's a mix.
That's a millennial.
It is a millennial for sure, and they gave it a 5-star review. They said this was terrible. Honestly, I couldn't even stand 1 minute of this. the cringe and annoyance of this does not play out well.
The
So they were with us.
The last thing that I'll mention for this film, before Smokey takes us on the thrilling ride that is this film's plot, the director, Phil Trail, told the Radio Times this November that there were plans for a third film and other sequels. He said, and I quote, "The character of Ed has not changed. He now has a family. He's got a bunch of kids and a wife. But he himself is still the same old Ed. As that doesn't change, we can just do it again and again and again and put them in crazier and crazier situations. There's a plan afoot for various different things. I don't think that it has to be limited to a trilogy. It can go on." End quote.
Jesus.
That man should go to jail.
Fuck.
Yeah, dude.
Like, go to jail for your crimes against
Part
humanity.
3, they're going to fucking space. That wasn't a fucking joke. That wasn't
No,
a
it wasn't.
fucking
It
joke.
wasn't a joke, dude. It
Fuck.
wasn't a joke.
Damn it.
It was not a joke. But you go ahead, Smokey. There was some things that when I looked at this morning, I was aghast and mad that they were being said and that they happened in regards to this film, and those were all of them.
Well, with all that said, I guess I can speed run the plot real quick, because that's what they fucking did with this movie.
Before
They
you do, I just want to
speed ran
say that the original Good Burger on Rotten Tomatoes has a audience score of 63% and a tomato meter of 33%.
Yeah.
Insane.
So I don't know what fucking crack these people are smoking that this movie is better than the first.
Is bath
there
salts.
has been more
They're smoking
time.
bath salts.
They have no eyes.
They have no eyes. They have
No
no
ears.
ears.
It'll get better in the future.
They
You can
just
only
slightly
hope.
respond to stimuli,
But yes,
like plants, like those plants that bend in when you touch them.
let's get into the schlock of a movie. This festering cesspit. We start off with, of course, Ed. We get it. Remember this? Oh, you remember when we did they didn't do it in a musical. It was just a little tidbit where we saw the burgers. But we got a musical this go around. So we got a musical number with the claymation. Look at you remember this, millennials? Remember this from the old? And then we cut to Dexter. And Dexter hasn't learned jack shit. He's like a CEO, CFO, all the fucking CC fucking shit you can have. And he's just manipulating bullshit. And he's just selling bullshit. And he loses everything because he sets his house on fire trying to sell some bullshit. And then we get
I
back
have to say, before we watched this movie, I was just thinking about what its plot was probably going to be, and my mind was like, so Ed is going to still be working at Good Burger, and Dexter is going to be a very unsuccessful CEO of something, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Also on that note, for this introduction scene, this film starts too fast. Like I did not appreciate the abruptness and quickness of which I was assaulted.
How are
Like,
you
it was-
going? How are you going
was
to
fast.
post the scenes on TikTok? You only get 1 minute. You get 1 minute. You gotta be able to post the scenes on TikTok. So if it's gotta go. Get a TikTok. Gotta be on TikTok. We gotta get on TikTok.
It was so fast. It was abrupt and it was scary and it made me
Jingle those
uncomfortable.
fucking keys.
They
Jingle
jingled them
those
too
fucking
fast.
keys.
It's too fast. Stop.
But yes, we get back to Good Burger. Everybody's working at Good Burger, and then fucking turns out someone's trying to buy Good Burger. Well, not even buy, just trying to franchise Good Burger. But Ed's not having it for some fucking reason. Because he keeps, like, I guess the person's like, hey, I'm
Good
trying
Burger.
to... Well, I guess he's wording it wrong, because he's not trying to buy Good Burger. He just wants to franchise Good Burger. And then he of course, turns out this dude is more evil than Dexter because he manipulates the manipulator into manipulating his best friend yet again into selling Good Burger to, was it the younger sister of the bad guy?
Yes.
Of the the younger sister of the bad guy of the last movie. But it's not Mondo Burger anymore. It's Mega Good Burger this time. And they're gonna franchise.
Yeah, because she runs Megacorp.
They're gonna franchise Mega Good Burgers. They're gonna open them up, and oh, the horror! The horror! They're gonna replace all the employees with automation. Be afraid of your fast food jobs, millennials. Be afraid. Jingle the keys. Jingle the keys. And then fucking it turns out Ed's like a super genius and he reprograms the stores to all go haywire instead of actually serving them. And then the day's saved and they get Good Burger again. Yay. Yay.
Wow, we got through that plot a lot quicker.
Yep.
Honestly, that was more entertaining than the movie. That was awesome. I was engaged. I got everything I needed. I laughed.
That's the pitch that they gave, right?
Oh, you best believe.
Now what actually happened?
I was that's the pitch that I gave, man. You'd best believe that's how they get. I didn't get paid for doing that either. It's bullshit. I got them the movie.
Nice. So Ed has a family. Instead
Satire,
of Ed's kid being Ed Jr. or like Ed the Second, his name is Ed 2. ED space the number 2.
If I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to be like Ed the Second because he named all his kids after him.
No, he did not.
He didn't?
named all of his. No, he did not. His Ed 2 is the only one that is Ed and then a number. All of his other kids are named Tomato, Pickles, Onion,
Yeah, they're all
Patty,
condiments.
Bun.
I did notice
Get over
that
Patty.
his
I thought that he was
wife's
just
name,
calling out condiments like a dumbass.
his wife's name was like Eddie or Edie, like EDI.
Yeah, it was
God.
Eddie, but they
God.
pronounced it Edie, which was fucking annoying as shit.
Oh, Murda, who played her, by the way?
Ego Wodum from Saturday Night Live and from
Yo.
Comedy. I always listen to Comedy Bang Bang, and she's always good on that.
Yeah, she rocks Comedy Bang Bang real
She
hard.
She didn't
If
really
I-
get much screen time in this. I mean,
She got one line.
Everybody's good. If I saw this on your resume, I'm never casting you ever fucking again. Like what? Like,
Let's
you
dive
done
into that
fucked
real
up.
quick.
I mean,
Let's-
she wasn't offensive. I mean, she had no screen time.
And
Yeah,
if
no,
you're
no,
51, forget about it.
Yeah, out of here, you fucking hag.
Yeah, let's dive into Smokey's comment here of if he sees this on your resume. Let's talk about Phil Trail. Phil Trail is the director of this film. He was born in 1973, so he is a Gen Xer. I feel like he was too old and did not ever see the original, and that is why we kind of just got this kind of disconnected to everything. However, he also directed another film, and that film is All About Steve.
Oof.
All About Steve has been reviewed for to quite some hilarity with How Did This Get Made, and it is also a winner of 2 Golden Raspberries, currently standing at a 6% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I've seen that
Dang.
movie, and it's truly, truly awful. I'd still much rather watch it than Good Burger 2.
Which one's that one?
It's a
All About Steve.
Sandra Bullock, Bradley Cooper rom-com.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, that
It's
movie.
just truly awful. But I did laugh during it. I didn't laugh very much in this. Like I couldn't even laugh of like, this is so bad it's funny.
No, it's
Like,
not. There's
it's
not a
not
single
even that
time
kind of
that I was
bad.
like,
At least
oh.
All About Steve, I was laughing because it was so bad and so
Quite
stupid.
I mean, this is so obviously a cash grab. Like it. I hate that everybody fell for it. Too. It's like,
yeah.
oh, look at the keys. Look at the keys. They're jingling it so fast.
Yeah, I don't like how fast they jingle the keys. Another major problem I have with this is that like
A lot of
there
TikTokable
are
moments, though,
times
man. You
there
can
are
post the
times
scenes
there
on
are
TikTok.
times where like the cuts between like here's this scene and here's the next scene are so fast that the character has barely even finished their dialogue. Like there was one cut that like I could have sworn that they did it in the middle of Keenan's sentence.
They did. But how are you gonna post the 45 seconds on TikTok?
I mean that's fine, but
You
you
gotta
know
be able to
there's something
cut
to
the
be
movie
said
up
about like comedic timing, and like
and
that's one of the major problems with the film is that neither Keenan nor Kel get the fair space they need for their comedy gold that we have clearly witnessed and that they still have. Like it's still there. It's just every time like Keenan is way too much of a straight man,
this wasn't about
and
Dexter and Ed though. This wasn't about Dexter. This was about tricking the dumbass TikTok loving fools into watching a movie, and look what we did. We fucking
the
fell
And
for it. And I hate TikTok.
yeah, I can tell. What was that, Spooge?
and also to agree with your point, just with the like not only with the flat like the cuts being so awkward to the point they're interrupting scenes and just like going to a totally like I feel like the first Good Burger was definitely like even though it was kind of skit to skit, it was still going in a direction, like it was still following a plot. When like I feel like the plot didn't really kick in until like the when they
The
finally
third
get all
act.
fired and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
And
just like
the
kind of just like
last
things happening.
in the last two
Yeah.
minutes of the movie, like we meet Dexter's sister, and it's supposed to be like this big reveal.
Yeah, so let's talk about Dexter's sister. So when Dexter goes back to work at the Good Burger, Dexter's niece Mia is working there. And Mia is Charlotte's daughter, who is very hostile to Dexter at first. And the only reason why that we're given for that is Mia saying how you stole all my mom's money. That's like one line that gets said. So Dexter at some point took all of his sister's money, uh, ostensibly to like do some type of failed business, and then never paid her back. So Dexter has learned absolutely nothing
If
since
anything,
the
he's gotten
time of the
worse.
first film. Yeah,
Yeah, and
if anything, he's become worse. He's
what
become
does he pay her back? No, he just gives her free
no.
food. Just is gonna kill her. Just gonna give her a heart attack. Yeah, hey,
Yep.
look at that. Look, you get hamburgers for the rest of your life. Go ahead,
Yep.
eat
And
hamburgers
and
to
Charlotte
the day you
herself
die.
at the end, Charlotte herself at the end of the film is like, well, I guess that's okay. I'm gonna order these onion rings, even though I know they're nasty. But if they're free, I'm gonna get them. So like, she clearly is someone who could have a problem with like food issues, and
I
like
mean,
is
same girl, same.
I
actively
like
contributing.
onion rings.
Yeah, I love onion rings. I'm not saying they're nasty. I'm just saying Charlotte doesn't want them, doesn't want to eat them, but gets them anyway because they're free, thus contributing to, her potential food problems.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
but
You
that's a
don't
lot
go
of
to Good Burger
exposition
for the
off of
onion
a
rings.
1 minute scene.
I mean, that's more
But
exposition than this movie get because there's no real there's no character building whatsoever. Everybody's just supposed to be a one-off joke, and that's it. We're supposed to all
ye-
point and laugh and move on.
Oh, the twins talk at the same time.
so
Hardy,
interesting thing
hard.
about the
So funny.
twins. The twins are actually triplets.
It's
And we
revealed at
find
the
that
end.
out at the very end of the film. Yes, that's right. The other interesting thing with them, give me just 1 second here.
I'm going to assume that they started out as like a baby set, because if you're working with babies, they got to be a set of triplets. I wouldn't be surprised.
No.
Oh,
So
they're not? Damn.
all three of the twins are the same actress, and they just duped her.
Motherfuckers.
Yep.
couldn't
So
even-
Elizabeth.
Triplets-
Wait. Oh no. Hold
It
on.
fucking says the triplets exist in
No,
Hollywood.
no.
What in the
So
fuck?
excuse me, I got that slightly wrong. Emily Hinkler is Cindy and Lindy. So the original twins that we see, the triplet is then revealed, and that is Elizabeth Hinkler, which is the twin sister of Cindy.
So there are real twins,
But
but only when they're
you know how many
triplets.
sets of triplets could have
Yes.
used a new role? Because usually once the
I don't know what
triplets-
to believe anymore.
once the triplets
Yeah,
so-
age out, that's it. They're gone.
So-
you don't get any more
Yeah, but
roles.
so
I have to say,
that's
though,
the what
gotta
you
give
guys say?
This movie, gotta give this movie a point though. I didn't catch that they mirrored them at all. I thought
I
they were
didn't
both
either
there.
because I thought one looked slightly different. I thought
Yeah,
one
I could have sworn
one of the
them were
twins had a
slightly
little
different.
bit of a wider
Is that where the money
face.
went?
Maybe
I'm
Okay,
be real
so-
with y'all. I did not care enough to
No.
find out. I
Maybe
was
the
so
face
happy when
widened
this movie
because
was
of the
over.
mirroring. Maybe a mirroring effect widened the face a bit to distort it just enough. Maybe that's what happened.
Maybe.
So this for me is one of those films where I was actively angry at the film for its existence, and that happened to me when Dexter starts to work at the Good Burger again, which is relatively early into the film. But very quickly, the reason I got angry about it is like he has this niece telling him, "Oh, you never paid back any money." He's got people in his life telling him like, "Oh, it's okay that you're a failed businessman, but like, just try to do better next time." And his very first impulse is to quote unquote help Ed, which is not actually to help Ed, it's to yet again exploit Ed and Ed's naivete. And I was so just mad, like when they got to the fancy French restaurant, and it's like, well, if he thinks it's okay, he's a good businessman. Like trying to Ed showing this compassion and support of his friend, and then neither of them read the contract. Like
Okay,
you
I
don't know
get
what this
Ed.
you don't know
Okay.
what this paper is.
Ed's
Like
supposed
Dexter,
to
like
be a
you do not know.
genius. Ed's supposed to be a genius. Why doesn't he realize Dexter lost everything because he's such a shitty business person?
Because Ed loves Dexter.
Because Ed is a pure being of ethereal joy, and he still is that in this film. However, he does not get to play up fully his antics, and that is a huge detractor from the film.
The
And
movie's
Rat.
existence is a huge detractor to the film. I do want to.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
It
it's
should
it's
not-
hot garbage.
This is definitely something that should not be a franchise, and I'm upset that it sounds like we're gonna get more if they allowed it. Of course, it gets. I know they don't base if they make sequels on the Rotten Tomatoes, but if the crowd reception is such a good one, then we're definitely going to get another one.
Well, it's
for our
Paramount
community.
Plus's biggest financial hit, so
Yeah,
Um,
Paramount is making bank off of this.
I mean,
Like,
Yeah,
they-
this
they-
effectively
we can
killed
talk
the
about-
next Pet Cemetery movie.
like
they did.
Paramount really needed it though, because Paramount sucks. Like there is nothing good on Paramount whatsoever.
Well, here's
Like,
an
Star
idea
Star
for
Trek,
Paramount.
Strange New Worlds.
They're way too busy trying to bring back all the old shit that that the Cuspers grew up on, and it's just not gonna work, man. It's not gonna work. It's
You know what a good idea for Paramount Plus is to do? It's to hold their licenses and have bidding wars on Netflix or Hulu and force them to pay the prices that they have to pay. They're
I would
the way
say
that their
Hulu.
streaming platform Well, yeah, but you could do that individually with each show. They hold all the licenses to all the cool old Nintendo. They have all the licenses to all the cool old Nickelodeon stuff. So like something that they could do like really well is essentially say, we're not going to give you this unless we get X amount of dollars. And they're not doing that. They're trying to do their
No,
own
they
streaming service, and they are not seeing the results that they want to be seeing. However, with Good Burger 2 landing the way that it has so far, that Good Burger 2 might actually help Paramount Plus maintain its
I mean,
existence.
that's the problem. I don't really hear any negative stuff about this. Like, I hear that they're remaking and bringing out new stuff, but there's nothing really. I didn't ever hear anybody say the new iCarly seasons were terrible.
I
Because
don't.
they started
I
bringing, they remade iCarly. Like they're
that's
remake,
awful.
they're
Is awful.
making iCarly still.
Yeah, that's awful.
They're adults now.
Their fans are called the Wee Carlies.
Really?
Nope.
Okay.
Made that up.
But they came out
Well,
with a,
you had me fooled.
They came out with a Zoe 102, which is a movie, a sequel to Zoe 101, which is more in line of the
God.
weird other show that was a spin-off of Zoe 101, but was more absurd with its comedy. I can't remember its name right now. But it's also canon to iCarly as well, because Kat and Sam fucking had a TV show that I'm surprised. The only reason why they can't bring it back because we just said her name earlier. Sam
Jeanette McCurdy.
Yeah, Jeanette McCarty will not come back, thankfully. So at least that, even though Sam was my favorite character from iCarly, it's just
Can't really speak on that. I didn't really watch. I was a little old for iCarly at the time.
iCarly was great, man. It was great. It just now it hurts because they ruining everything, and it's evidently clear. But everybody's lopping it up for some reason. I guess nostalgia is a bitch.
Yeah, but see the interesting thing is like I'm okay with like relinquishing like oh I loved this thing when I was a kid and now this new thing's coming out and it's completely different and I don't like it because it's not like what I enjoyed as a kid. But like if the next generation likes it, then okay, that's fine. But like with this case in particular, it is not a oh I'm nostalgia blinded and it's not the original Good Burger, so I don't like it. That is how if negative reviews come out, that is how Paramount will spin it. However, it's because it's not good. Like it's just not. It's just actually like not good. Like
Yeah,
even giving it a chance. Like Keenan is Keenan's awful. Kel doesn't ever get like to fully do his jokes. Everything's too fast. Nothing makes sense. The skits are tired and it needs a fresh breath of life and we don't get that with Mia. We don't get that with Charlotte. We don't get that with Ed and his family. It's just the same things just in the future.
Do they
And
even
it
address
doesn't work.
Otis? I don't even think they address Otis too tough. They do like
No,
a
they don't
one-off
because they
line
replace
and
her.
he's gone.
They replace him.
I mean,
They replace Otis.
it's
Otis
very
is replaced
with Ruth.
by the older lady. Yes. Um, and she, even though she is an older lady, she's a relatively new actress. This is the third or fourth film that she's been in.
Which is nothing on her. I'm not.
No,
saying
I'm not.
she's
No,
a
I'm not.
bad
I'm not knocking
actress.
her. I'm just.
Yeah. It just. She was.
It's
this
different.
shouldn't be fucking made. This shouldn't have been fucking made, man. I was just agreeing with you, man. I was just agreeing with you.
Remember when they brought back Fitz and then didn't do anything with him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Fitz. Oh yeah. So Fitz fell in, or he went to go get patties out of the freezer, and he got frozen.
23 years ago.
23 years ago. So he was on his way to go see Leela and be best friends with Bender, and they interrupted that so that he could be in this film, and I feel bad for him.
I mean, I did laugh like or at least, I mean, laugh is a generous word, but I did chuckle like when he like the reveal that he was like there and frozen, and then I was like, oh, maybe we'll get some more of this character, and then he was just never in it again.
Which
Yep.
is a good thing. He did. That actor did his part. He was like, I'll do the cameo and get the check, and I'm gone. You ain't getting me in this. This fucking garbage. This.
Yeah, I mean, Josh,
shit trash.
and we should mention too, it is Josh Server. It is the original Fizz.
Yeah, it is.
Like it is him. Same actor and everything. And I think he saw this for what it was and bounced out, as Smokey alluded to.
Hey,
it's like, okay.
y'all found the imagine. Remember when they made fun of the fact that all the
COVID
famous people
thing,
all the famous people sung Imagine for us to get
Yeah,
us
that
to,
was cool.
to believe in imagination. Remember that?
That
joke?
was cool.
Wasn't
Yeah,
that
I do.
funny? Didn't you
Yeah.
laugh out loud? Wasn't that such a gut buster? All them
Yeah.
cameos.
Yeah, it was. It was great. I think my
I don't
favorite
think
joke.
he really thought it was a gut buster.
I think he's lying to us.
Yeah, no, it's atrocious. Nicole Byers in this film, for like 3 lines, and she's supposed to represent Lizzo, I'm assuming.
I don't know.
She was very Lizzo-like.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to say because I don't know if they would want to with all of the controversy that's going around.
Right, and so that's the thing, is that like this is what happens when you shoot something in approximately 6 weeks. Like you're doing a Lizzo cameo prior to like things that
Not even a
were
cameo.
going to happen.
It was like they were trying to parody her.
Yeah, parody.
Yeah, parody.
Yeah.
But
And
they didn't
it
do
just-
it right. It just
No,
was like,
and it was
this?
bad.
Who is
It was
this?
bad.
Who is this
It's
supposed
Luna.
to be?
It's Luna Fox. The one that Mia was going to see in concert with her boyfriend, who's now her ex-boyfriend.
Which I regret. Which I did Google Luna Fox, and I regret it heavily because it was an OnlyFans page that popped up.
Of course, it was.
Oh.
It's Luna and Fox with 2 X's. Like
Doing-
I could
doing
tell you
some-
from a mile away.
Doing
That's an
some
adult entertainment.
research there.
I put 1X.
He did it for the show.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to know if it was a real, like, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like some random artist that I just didn't know, because
wait,
they do have 2
Absolutely,
random
and when
members
you
of this.
donated $250, it was so that you would just make sure. It's just so you can make sure.
Luna
sure
Fox
it's not
sounds like
Nicole
they're like a furry though. Like you go to their OnlyFans and it'd be like a moon fox.
No.
Well,
It wouldn't be a
that's
moon
terrifying.
fox. It would be a lady in a fox outfit who specializes in ass play, because it's Luna.
Oh.
Moon, but
Oh.
Oh.
see how that works.
I got you.
It can be a man.
It could be a man, sure.
Hold up.
I guess when I think of the moon, yeah, I do get like, mooning, you show your butt, but I think of like menstrual cycles.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
with
yeah.
Luna is more feminine, but who knows? Who knows? Their
What
persona.
about Luna Lovegood?
See, it could be a man, but their persona could be female. That is possible. It's possible.
I'm not.
Yeah,
No
no
one's
one's saying
no
it-
one's
yeah.
debating
Furries
that.
are fucking weird like that.
No, that's
you
just
furries,
people
you,
can
you,
identify
yeah,
however
you go
they
live
want.
your life. Yeah.
You,
No one's.
you can
no
be
one's
a
saying
woman,
anything
but
bad
you can't
about
be
you.
a fox. I'm not giving them that. You can't be a fox. I'm sorry.
You can be
can
a
be
fox.
a-
It's all right. Be a fox.
Yeah, be what you want. Be what you want. Don't let Smokey tell you what you can and can't be. There's a character in this movie called Jimothy.
Laughed at the name Jimothy.
Yeah, but then what did Jimothy do?
He was one of the henchmen, right?
Oh no, yeah, he was. I don't like that.
He was one of the henchmen for Kurt's sister. I don't remember her name.
Yeah, it's
The
Kat.
workaholics lady.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her name is Kat Boswell.
Cat. Okay. Cat and Kurt. Okay, I get it.
Yep.
This
She's
fucking
never in good
movie
things,
is
but
just
she's
tons
pretty
of
good.
cameos. Like I said it at the beginning, it's very Zoolander 2. It's like a bunch of
Oh yeah.
cameos. They tried to do the same jokes, and nothing's landing at
Yeah.
all.
You didn't like
Yeah.
I think
seeing
it
Young
was
Gravy? Come on,
I think it
man.
was even more egregious than Zoolander 2. I didn't like Zoolander 2, but it did make me like hateful.
We're
Yeah, I wasn't mad.
juggling
I
the
wasn't mad at
keys.
the end of Zoolander 2. I wasn't happy about it,
Like it
but I
wasn't
wasn't
good by
actively
any
mad.
means, and I didn't really get many laughs except for like real small Fred Armisen. I laughed at
How
that.
hard do we have to
Yeah, that was
jingle
cool.
these keys for y'all to be happy? We're jingling them as hard as possible, and you're
It's
not
too
happy.
fast. It's too fast. Oh yeah, Smokey brought up Young Gravy. So let's take a look at comparisons of music here.
I don't know who
Um,
that is.
in
It
so
is a
Young
SoundCloud, right?
Gravy.
He is a SoundCloud rapper that got famous because he made some pretty decent songs.
Um, he has one mixtape, four albums, and seven EPs. He is often associated with SoundCloud and the SoundCloud rapper era, um, alongside a fellow hip hop artist. Uh,
Buenos. That's how I
yes,
pronounce it. I don't know if that's how you
okay,
pronounce it, but it's
okay, it's
BBNOS.
but the S is a money sign.
Yes.
Um, he released several collaboratives with them. This is who we get for music in it, whereas the first film had George Clinton. So just
Yeah.
like
Hey,
frame of
whoa!
reference for
I
everybody.
ain't knocking Young Gravy now. I ain't knocking Young Gravy. He's alright. I ain't.
I don't know enough
Yeah,
to
yeah.
knock him or
I'm
not.
not. I'm gonna have to defend. It was just not worth the cameo. It just wasn't worth the cameo to have Young
It
Gravy in there.
just
I'd much
again,
rather
it
see
just
Young Gravy in something completely different.
well, he didn't. I mean, he didn't. He said one line and then played his music at the party where everyone was supposed to get raises, but then they actually fired everyone. Um, and that's kind of his whole bag.
But he was
Is
vibing with everybody else watching the movie. He wasn't having fun.
The soundtrack for Good Burger 2 was released in November 2023. It features Vic Mensa, uh, Mattia, Wiz Khalifa, Young Gravy, Tizo Touchdown, Paul Russell, Wee Ani, Trey Mackay, Jutes, Noise of Corey, and Kel Mitchell.
Aren't these keys
Um,
so hip? Aren't these
I
keys
only
so hip?
only recognize the name Wiz Khalifa out of any of those.
Look at
I'm
the hip
not
keys.
hip. I don't know.
Look at the
I
hip
don't know a lot of
keys.
current
Come
music.
on. Are they not hip enough for you? How how can we get you with these keys? Why aren't you loving the keys, man?
Um, so far, so this is a very new film, right? We do have a editor from Variety, which is Murtada Ilfadl, I guess. I don't
Kevin
know. I'm
Smith
probably
would
but
have done a better editing job.
um, and something that she criticizes in the film is this quote: "The sequel denies Thompson for him to showcase his obvious comedic talent, forced into playing the straight man to Mitchell's more flashy character. Thompson ends up explaining the wacky shenanigans happening instead of actually doing anything comedic. Almost every nonsensical line Mitchell utters is followed by a sober explanation from Thompson, suggesting the writers don't trust the audience to get the obvious jokes." End quote.
I
He
completely agree, and I'm glad that was pointed out by like a critic. Because like I didn't expect this movie to be like good, but I didn't expect it to be as like awful and disappointing as it was. I was just very frustrated because Keenan was so funny in the first movie, and I guess he was arguably the straight man if we're talking like who's a straight man between Keenan and Kel. But like he still had comedy, like he still was like riffing, just being funny, but like he just wasn't he seemed so just dead in this. Like he wasn't funny. He seemed like he didn't want to be there. He just was like phoning it in.
Everyone
Like
And
there
it's
was
seems
just
forced.
really
nothing.
weird because he's the reason this movie's made. Obviously, he's
Yeah,
Yep.
he's the
and
SNL
he's so
star.
yeah, he was so good
Yep.
on SNL for so long. Like even the skits that didn't
But
land,
I
like
don't
at least
see.
he was funny.
Dude, I don't want to put that. I don't want to put this on him, man. I don't.
No, I'm not
Uh,
saying it is, but
I,
I
it's,
just I don't know, what happened behind
who
the
I
scenes.
someone
I
it
don't know who's making the
there
choices.
has to be a big wig at Paramount that grew up watching Good Burger and they just got the big wig job and they're like, you know what I
yes.
always wanted.
Yes.
You know what I always
Yes.
Good Burger
Yes.
too. Oh
Yes.
yeah,
And
Isn't
you know
the
that
why? And
had
you
to
know
be.
director
why?
of the first one?
We're gonna loop this
Oh,
full circle. He was stoked to help to make sure that Good Burger 2 got made. Um, that is an actual thing. The current CEO, who we spent a good amount of time with at the beginning of the first one, um, Robbins, wanted this to happen. Like this is a thing
legendary
that.
director of Norbit.
Yep, that's right. Um, the other the other thing too is that, like, this is, I wouldn't say necessarily it's a pet project for him, but him and Dan Schneider essentially created all that and Good Burger and all that kind of stuff. So for him to be in the reins currently of Paramount Plus, I am sure that he probably was like, yes, we this is something that needs to be made.
It's
Now,
a real Last Witch Hunter situation.
yeah. Um so yeah, it's just awful. So that is,
But like he didn't write
no,
on it
he didn't.
or
Nope,
direct or produce it though.
nope. He did none of those things. The producers are only two, and they are Keenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell.
Okay, who wrote this shit
Oh
though?
my god.
This
Who
was
wrote this
this w-
fucking shit?
this was written by Kevin Coppolo and Heath Seifert.
Those
You
are
sure it
made
wasn't
up
Chat?
names.
You sure it wasn't Chat GPT?
I was gonna
It,
say that is
It
AI if I ever heard it.
oh
yeah,
yeah.
this is AI for sure. There's no
S-
fucking way they wrote this shit.
Kevin Coppolo, born in 1963. Heath Seifert, born in 1968. Are an American television writing and producing team. They have written and produced All That, Keenan and Kel, Cousins for Life, for Nickelodeon, and Austin and Ally for the Disney
I'm
Channel,
I'm
among other
assuming
series.
contractually they have to be given the writer credits, and they just used AI to like I. There's no fucking way someone wrote this and was like, "This is good. This is I my magnum opus. Look at the genius I put to pen and paper." There's no fucking way.
So I
No
so I
way.
think I think one of the problems is that the two producers for this film are the two leading roles of this film, and it's something that they have already done before.
Well,
Like it, like
they
think.
might have been forced to produce it because they owned the characters. This is
Well,
like,
no,
hey, this is your shit. We're making this. If you want
what
in, you better get in now. And they're like, okay.
yeah, yeah, I mean that could be too. The
Because what they definitely didn't want someone else to get in. Like, at least the actors probably knew that they're the only ones that could do this to not make it salvageable, but to at least make us go, okay, we'll watch it.
Yeah, and hopping back to the Variety article that was oh so recently written, um, that editor also took issue with the underused cameos for other SNL cast members, labeling them as, quote, wasted one scene characters, quote.
What?
He ended this
Agree.
review by saying, quote, when a fast food sequel takes this long to make, it ought to come out tasting a lot better than Good Burger 2.
Dang.
You didn't
Scathing.
like the Pete Davis? You didn't. We got Pete Davidson though. Hey,
On the flip side, because as we know, this film is relative. Like for a new film, this it's getting some traction on Rotten Tomatoes. We have Jennifer Green, who reviews for Common Sense Media, giving the film a 3 out of 5 stars, and wrote,
Nope.
quote, Mitchell, Thompson, Howery, and Bell are all comical in their over-the-top roles.
No,
Though
they're not.
Mitchell's Ed is funnier if it's if viewed as single-minded. Mitchell, Thompson, Howery, and Bell are all comical in their over-the-top roles. Though Mitchell's Ed is funnier if viewed as single-minded rather than just simple, parentheses, or even intellectually challenged, end parentheses, end quote.
Who wrote this?
What the fuck?
This is Jennifer Green from Common Sense Media.
Whoa.
Jennifer Green sounds like she's
You put her on
51,
blast,
first off.
dude. Shots fired. Holy
She has
shit.
outlived her usefulness.
Wow.
Oh, she's 51. Oh no, not 51.
Damn. You was
Also,
driving that bus, Starfish. Holy shit.
yeah. Yeah, the other thing is that because it's so new and all this stuff, like there's not a whole lot on production. Also, it doesn't really. I mean, it is the lowest grade of schlock.
Do we have the budget?
I don't think they've announced that yet because it's not the end of the year. But let me find out if I can see.
Which we didn't mention. We didn't mention the budget for the first movie. That actually didn't make it into the cut.
Let's see here. If we can get this. Let me look at this, Forbes. No, you're not. All right. So just quick snippet from Forbes. I was trying to pull up the whole article, but it's not letting me for some reason. It keeps almost loading and then it doesn't. Anyways, quick snippet just from like the little Google preview. Good Burger 2. Thompson and Ryan approached Paramount and Nickelodeon with $10 million of the film's $30 million budget in hand.
Jesus.
So they contributed a third of this $30 million.
$30 million.
They wanted to make this that bad?
Why?
I mean, I can see like Keenan thinking that, this is going to be a return to like this cult classic and this thing he's got a fond memory of. But like he didn't even perform in it. Like, and again, I don't know whose fault that was. I don't know if he was like stifled by the direction or like he just, once he got there, he's like, oh, this isn't good, so I'm not going to care anymore. Like, I don't know what happened. But like he does not seem like he wants to be there. That's surprising that he provided a third of the money.
Yeah. So for original Good Burger, it grossed. So it earned $23.7 million against a budget of $8.5 million when it first hit theaters in 1997.
Jeez.
So pretty rip-roaring success with the first one here. This one I do feel like is going to be harder to have, clear numbers on, specifically because it is being shadow dropped on a streaming platform.
They're definitely gonna do the Velma thing. They're gonna look at how many views we got. Don't look at the reviews. Look at the views. Yeah, boy.
The hate watches.
It's like you got me there. I watched it. I fucking watched it.
Well, I mean, do we have a lot more to say about the production? Do we want to get into final thoughts? Do we want to keep talking about this movie?
I
think they know where we're coming from.
I think I should start if we're getting into final thoughts because I think it's very clear.
There's only one. there's only one other thing that I want to mention about this, and then we can move on to final thoughts, which is there was an original sequel to Good Burger 1997, and it had already been made. However, it was in book form only, titled Good Burger to Go, published in 1998. It follows Ed and Dexter trying to license Ed's sauce to sell. Unfortunately, a big pot of Ed's sauce is empty, and Ed isn't available to make more due to the fact that he is trying to track down a customer to return 18 cents in change to that customer. Determined to return the change, he follows the customer around the world and ends up getting mixed up in a kidnapping plot in Paris. All the while, Dexter is trying to track him down.
I wish.
That's an
Sounds like a
Wait.
better
extremely
film, right?
90s
Wait.
plot.
I wish
Wait,
we
okay.
got that.
You're
I wish-
telling me that they marketed the sequel to Good Burger to people that read?
Yeah, boy.
They made it
Yeah,
better.
boy.
They made it
What?
fucking better. That's better than what we got. I much rather
I mean,
have that.
there
than
was like
what
a
we got.
time, I'd say like in the late 90s, early 2000s, where like novelizations of movies were a thing, and like they would get weird little sequels and stuff. It was a
it's
weird
a very
time.
common thing to do. They ended a plot line for Assassin's Creed in a fucking comic book. I've mentioned that before, but
That seems more appropriate though.
oh, what? No, the fuck! It's a video game. Ending
I don't know.
crucial
Video
plot
game
line
and
in a
comic
comic
books,
book?
I don't know.
Like, I'm playing the video games for a reason. I want to know the plot. Now, nobody will know that plot. I'm not even going to give it away. You're just going to have to deal with that. That plot line's never going to get resolved in the video games. Congratulations.
That's alright. I'll just go read the comic book.
Nice.
In the early 2000s, I remember doing a book report on the novelization of 10 Things I Hate About You, and I had never never seen the movie.
That's fantastic.
It's just really weird.
Does it also end with letters to Cleo on the roof? Or
I think so. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm going to assume you haven't seen this movie.
No, I've seen
Okay,
it since, but I just like weirdly picked that book up from the school library and did a book report on it.
Yeah.
all right.
There's
So final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Yeah,
we
let's
can totally
just
get
final
into it.
thoughts.
I'm gonna go first. Jeff Goldblum for me, obviously. I mean, I want to call Paramount and negotiate refunds, even though I got this for free, so.
I mean, they should give you at least a year's worth of subscription.
A lifetime worth of subscription. I mean, I wasted an hour and 30 minutes of my life, and I'm not gonna get that hour and 30 minutes back. So
What was the runtime on this movie?
It's like a minute
Oh,
and
it's
39.
exactly 1:30.
Oh shit! I thought it was like 9 minutes longer than I was saying, but hey,
Shorter than the first movie.
fucking
Seemed a lot longer though.
It seemed so much fucking longer. I mean, it's terrible. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum. Just get Jeff Goldblum. Hey, let's wrap up this shit. This shitty ass movie. I'm done talking about it.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean, I'll go ahead. Yeah, this movie was truly the worst movie I've watched for these reviews. Much worse than The Covenant. I'd rather watch that again than watch this. Like I said, I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be good, but I just wasn't expecting it to be this like soulless, I think is a good word. I mean, nobody seemed to care. I will say, like, Kel was, he was trying. I'll say he was trying. I didn't feel like Keenan was trying whatsoever. I feel like he phoned it in. I feel like Kel was trying. I feel like they should have given Ed 2 a little more screen time, because I think like he with his dad could have been something. Like it could have been something funny. But this movie never gave anybody a chance to be funny. anytime anybody tried, the movie just sabotaged itself with its weird cuts and its weird pacing and its weird decisions. It was truly awful. Uh, so I guess what I'm trying to say is God tier. I'm just, just kidding.
Yeah, boy.
You got to convince everybody else it's God tier now.
Definitely Jeff Goldblum for me. I didn't pay anything for it, but I want some like reparations for watching it.
Before we move on, I gotta applaud Murder. You're trying to be so nice to this movie. I gotta applaud you
I
for
don't
being
think
good
so.
to
I don't think anything I said was nice.
I'm saying it now. You're the nicest that anybody can be to this movie.
I don't feel like I was nice, but okay. This is hot garbage.
It's like, this movie was complete dog shit. Quit being so nice. Stop holding back.
It's true. True that.
All right, somebody else, go ahead and take it.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Yeah, I'm actually a little stoked to be giving my first Jeff Goldblum as a guest of the show. Because this movie should be used to torture war criminals, including that director who says that they're just going to continue to make more and more of these forever. That monster.
Once again, that is hold on, let me pull him back up again. That is Phil Trail. He's already made a film that's won 2 Golden Raspberries, and this should be there as well.
This movie should win all the Golden Raspberries this year.
Oh, it should sweep sure.
I don't think it should even receive that recognition.
He should go to jail. That woman from Common Sense News Reporting, whatever, should go to jail.
Jennifer Green.
Carmen Electra should go to jail.
She's 51. She's already in jail.
Believe it or not, right to jail.
All of them. Right to jail, exactly.
I can give. Sorry to interrupt, Omi, but I can give it. This is better than Meets the Spartans. So, Carmen Electra's got that.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Well, anybody else?
I didn't know if Omi was done or not. I didn't want to interrupt him.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is also my first Jeff Goldblum.
You didn't give The Covenant Jeff Goldblum?
I did not. Because I don't know. I get, or did I give that one to Jeff Goldblum? I don't think I did. Go back to our episode and see if Starfish gave the Covenant Jeff Goldblum, and then tell me in the comments if I was right or wrong. But yeah, no, this film has no value. As Murda put, it is soulless. As I have said multiple times, this is the worst type of schlock. I am legitimately astounded that people have been watching this and think that it's okay to be in the cinematography landscape, or the cinematic landscape, I guess. This does not belong. I do feel that this film should receive the ET treatment, and all hard copies of it should be smashed and buried in
the
landfill,
video game?
and then
E.T. the
cemented
Atari
over.
game.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta specify. I thought you were talking about the movie. I was about to say, whoa, hold up. That's the first movie that ever made me cry. I can't say that.
No. The Atari game. And it makes me sad to see the plummeting depths of which people will go to in order to turn a quick buck. That's it.
All right, Spooge.
Agreed.
All right. Yeah, it's Jeff Goldblum. I mean,
Jeff Goldblum. What does Jeff Goldblum want?
I want my money back. And I want angels to give it to me. And pixies to count it out for me, and a gnome or a hobbit or an elf to sleep at the foot of my bed, and I just want them all over my backyard. But no matter what happens with any of that, I do want my money back.
It's not a surprise. This movie did everything wrong. It defiled the memory of almost. I mean, I could still enjoy the first one, but it still defiled the memory of the first film, and somehow just like let's do everything in the first film but wrong, and somehow it achieved all that. The cuts are just insane. I don't understand how anyone like watched this and thought this looked good. It's really weirdly saturated too. Like
it was so bright. The colors were so
Yeah.
bright.
And not in like a fun way. It's just kind of gross, gross to look at. It really felt like I don't know. I've seen like YouTube movies of like lower budgets, like that had like a lot more competence in the filming of them, and with the cuttings and stuff. The use of music was annoying. And yeah, pretty much what everyone else said. I agree with about this film. There's nothing I could even say to give it a point.
Absolutely no redeeming qualities.
No redeeming qualities. And that's
right.
mine, yeah.
So I guess
Getting to the
that's
outro.
Hey, we getting into the outro.
We ate the rotten burger.
Yep.
So
I do have a sign off as well.
Nice.
So
but
sorry.
Hold on.
Sorry. I jumped the gun. So sorry.
If
I
you've
did
been
too.
listening to us ramble about these two movies this long, thank you so much. Please let us know if you like this two movie format, or if you would prefer us to keep splitting it up. If you liked it, give us a like. I already said leave a comment, but tell us what you think about this schlock in the.
Do you love this movie? Are we offending you by saying it was
Yeah.
terrible?
Let us know.
Are you 51?
Are you 51? Do you need to go to jail?
Yeah, if you're a child or an old person, the hands are coming.
Share this around. Let us know. We greatly appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on notifications. And this is the part where I go, hey, does anybody got to sign off?
Oh, you know I do. So we're going to take these two. They're a little long, but we're going to take them side by side. Customer to Ed. Excuse me, look, I ordered one good burger with nothing on it. That's what I gave you. No, you gave me a bun. Just a bun. Look, there's no meat in here. But you said you wanted nothing on it. Yes, but I expected a meat patty. Dude, a meat patty is something. You said nothing. Fizz, is a meat patty something or nothing? Something? I win. That's it. I'm reporting your name to the manager. The manager already knows my name. Throws the bun down. And I'll see you in hell. Okay, see you there. Versus. That tone's let me knows you don't understand business. You're just listing business words.
Definitely the first one.
We see the differences here.
But
and that's my sign off.
Anybody else got to sign off?
I gotta sign off. We missed this review here. This is a review for the movie. And it says it's just by the nerd. I don't know who that is, but Cowabunga, Cow a fucking piece of dog shit. This movie is diarrhea coming out of my dick. This movie is as appalling as fucking ooze-infested, dirty fucking sewer rat shit. I've had more fun playing with dog turds, shredders my head, and splitters my balls. This movie is an inside-out asshole, regurgitated putrid anal fecal matter. I'd rather fucking yank all the hairs out of my scrotum. I'd rather drink diarrhea vomited out of a buffalo's anus. It sucking fucks. It fucking sucks. It fucking blows. It's a piece of shit. And I don't like it.
Well, hell yeah, I agree with
Thanks,
that guy. I agree with
Thank you for
everything he
listening to that review of Meet the Spartans.
Yes. You can tag that to anything.
My sign off would just be the good burger has become a bad burger and it doesn't deserve anything more clever than that for a sign off.
Only, did you already say yours?
I could not possibly follow up any of the gold that was just thrown out. So I got nothing.
It's okay, you know, this movie doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, no, I guess not. But jingle, jingle, jingle. Don't you like these keys? Jingle, jingle. Oh,
It's
I
too
got
fast.
these
The keys are too fast. Make it stop.
Alright, this will be a bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next time.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?